The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, man, I didn't quite plan it this way, but man, oh man, do we have an action-packed show for you guys today? And that's honestly putting it lightly. We have an action-packed show. It's gonna be crazy. So we're going to spend this first 30 minutes talking about the Ryan Garcia tank thing. At 7:30, Mickey Bey is going to be here to talk some boxing. Stop by, talk to us. Shout out to Mickey Bey. Then we're going to talk some more boxing for like however long we have till 9 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, Atif Oberlton, the very exciting light heavyweight prospect, is going to be here. So, yeah, man, just a really, really exciting live today. And I'm glad to be here with you guys. I'm glad to once again be here talking that world-class boxing talk with you guys. But listen, we don't got time to waste. As they say, time is money. Time is of the essence, especially today. Let's talk about it. Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, they apparently, according to both fighters and according to, the parties involved, they're stating that basically they're going to fight. And the stipulations of what's been reported out there is that the fight is a done deal. It's being looked at for April in Vegas. The fight will be at a catch weight of 136 pounds because, as you guys know, Ryan Garcia is now a 140-pounder. He was recently at the most recent WBC convention, ranked number 7 in the WBC rankings at 140. So the fight will be at 136. Gervonta Davis has a fight that he'll be taking on January 7th, and we'll get into that. It was announced that it's Hector Luis Garcia. And apparently it will be a pay-per-view, Showtime and DAZN. So those are your details. Make of them what you will. But listen, call me crazy. Call me maybe a bit, I don't know. Call me maybe a little bit skeptical. But truthfully speaking, I'm very skeptical, only because I have to be because of what happened with Crawford and Spence. But if both fighters are saying that it's happening, if the execs are saying it's happening, then hopefully it is happening. But I'm gonna wait for the tickets to be on sale before I really get excited. Because if this fight is happening in April, and by the way, Tank has to be Hector Luis Garcia, which is no walk in the park. But if it is happening in April and there is that deal in place, then boxing fans should rejoice because we were starved out of a lot of big matchups this year. I know a lot of people have pretty much said, fuck boxing because of what's taking place with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. I know a lot of people are also upset about the fact that we didn't get undisputed at heavyweight, and it seems like we're not getting it anytime soon due to the IBF calling Hergovich as a mandatory. So this is a fight that I feel boxing needs at this point. This is a fight that I genuinely believe that would really be a big shot in the arm for the sport, because it really seems like the only big-time boxing that we have these days is really more so from the TikTokers and stuff like that, and the influencers. I hate saying that, but when I talk to people who don't know anything about boxing, who are not in this little bubble of the YouTube boxing community, they ask me about influencer boxing. They don't ask me about Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. So that's what's moving the needle right now, and I don't like it, but it's the truth. So yeah, shout out to my dad. Everybody show your appreciation for Pops, and if you're here, make sure you smash the like button and drop a comment. Pop says, "Wow, this fight is finally happening. Who do you want to fight the winner? How does Tank beat Garcia, and how does Garcia beat Tank?" Well, I don't know which Garcia you're talking about, Pops, but I want to talk about Tank's fight because, listen, they may have a deal in place, but that deal could go up completely in smokes. If Gervonta Davis doesn't handle his business come January 7th out there in Washington, D.C., then, that deal could go all the way up in smokes. He's got to fight. So they just announced within the last couple of hours that Gervonta Davis is fighting none other than Hector Luis Garcia, the newly crowned WBA champion at 130, right? And he's got to beat him first. Now, people who don't like Tank, it'd be very easy to criticize this fight and say, well, Gervonta Davis is just doing what he always does. He's cherry-picking a guy from a lower weight class that's never competed at 135 when he's bringing it up to 135. But at the same time, Hector Luis Garcia has had a great year. He beat Chris Colbert. He beat, he became champion his last fight. So they offered him an opportunity, and he's daring to be great. And there's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, this is prize fighting, and I'm more than sure that it's going to be a career high payday for him because Gervonta Davis is one of the biggest stars in boxing. And just by being in the ring with him, just by Hector Luis Garcia sharing the ring with Gervonta Davis, his stock is going to go up. It's a win for him, I believe, no matter what the result is. It's a win for him and Dominican boxing just for the fact that he's getting up in the ring with them. So shout out to Hector Luis Garcia. Really happy for him. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. You got to remember, look how far he's come, Hector Luis Garcia. This is a guy that has, we didn't know who he was about 10, 12 months ago. Now he beat Chris Colbert as a heavy underdog. Then he became champion. Now he's fighting Gervonta Davis. So that's why, as fighters, you always got to make sure you're doing what you can to win your fights and focus on what's in front of you. Because if you win your fights and you do your job, then good things will happen to you down the road. But it's a fight that I think Gervonta Davis should win. Garcia, it's going to be a southpaw on southpaw matchup. Hector Luis Garcia likes to come forward. Gervonta Davis is obviously going to like that kind of a style coming towards him. So Gervonta Davis is going to have a chance to really, I think, put on a show and take his O, and it'll look good on his resume if he can beat Hector Luis Garcia, because even though he's never competed at 35, which I know is what people who hate Tank, they probably won't care much about this right now, but like if he beats Garcia, which he should, they will not give him any credit for the win. But truthfully speaking, I don't think that Tank is much bigger than Garcia. I mean, he's not, because Tank's not a big guy in general. He's not a big guy or a tall guy to begin with, but he's a powerful man. He punches really hard and he's got great boxing skills, and he's very composed. He's a composed, ice cold killer, that Gervonta Davis. So should be a good fight. It's a good way, I believe, to kick off 2023. PBC, Al Heyman, they kind of got down the stretch of this year, they really didn't have the best year, and that's putting it very nicely. But you look at this, you look at maybe this Ryan Garcia Tank fight, and PBC looks like they're gonna get out to a good start in 2023. So I'm looking forward to it. So those just my initial thoughts of Hector Luis Garcia versus Tank. Shout out to Bob Santos, who putting these guys in positions to win, and But assuming that Gervonta Davis does what he's supposed to do and he beats Hector Luis Garcia and he fights Ryan Garcia in April, let's camp out on that for a second while we wait for Mickey Bey here at 7:30. I think there's been a lot of criticism on both these men. These are two of the most scrutinized young fighters in boxing, and the old saying goes, if you don't have no haters, you ain't popping. But Gervonta Davis, he's gotten the right amount of experience. He's been at this level for a long time. I believe he became champion in 2017, right? I believe it was 2017. So 2023 is going to be 6 years since he won his first world title all those years ago against Pedraza. So he's been at this championship level for a long time now. He's gotten the experience. He's no longer a kid, because back 6 years ago when he won that title, he was the youngest champion in boxing. Now he's actually closer to 30 than he is to 20. So I think, it's the right time for Tank. For Ryan Garcia, I think maybe for him, if you want to kind of ask who might be taking this fight with maybe not the equivalent enough amount of experience, maybe it's Ryan, because Ryan, he had that one fight against Luke Campbell, he had the fight against Fortuna, and it's he hasn't really been the most active. So I feel like Ryan Garcia is taking a slight jump up in class, but I think stylistically it's a great fight. Ryan Garcia is going to have about a 5-inch height advantage. I'm not sure what the reach advantage is, but I know he's like 5 inches taller than him. Because people don't realize, I think people sometimes forget, for 135, Ryan Garcia is a very tall fighter. Long, rangy, quick, powerful. And, I like this fight because I think for the first time, we're going to see Gervonta Davis in there with somebody who, if he exchanged with them, that maybe if they land their shots and they land the punches they want to land in the exchanges, he could actually be in some real trouble. When he's fought like Leo Santa Cruz and Jesus Cuellar and these different types of guys, we never had to worry about Tank getting hurt, because we knew that Tank could kind of just march forward, do what he wanted to do, and have success. But now he has a guy in Ryan Garcia that if he's not careful, when he catches one of those left hooks upside his head, he's going to be in trouble. So I like the fight. I'm really interested to see from the Ryan Garcia side of things. So two things. Number one, I want to see how he makes the weight, because if I truthfully believe he moved up to 140 because maybe he can't make 35 as easily. So now he's at 36. He gets a pound more. Hopefully he can make the 136 catch weight healthy. And then after that, I'm really intrigued to see, does Ryan Garcia, how does he approach the fight? Does he try to exchange with Tank? Does he try to exploit that long, rangy frame of his? I mean, that's really, I feel that's where he needs to be at. He needs to play the waiting game with Tank and use that long, rangy frame of his, and don't make some of the mistakes he made against Luke Campbell. And like one of the big technical mistakes I remember Ryan Garcia making with Luke Campbell, and it's kind of like it's a similar fight in the sense that Tank is a southpaw. Obviously, a much more dangerous southpaw, but a southpaw nonetheless. The mistake that he made with Luke Campbell that got his ass dropped was that he took his lead left foot when he was jabbing and he put it on the inside of Luke Campbell's foot, and it put him in a position to get clipped. And he did. And he got taken to some deep, dark, uncomfortable places. So he's going to have to really, really make sure he's on his P's and Q's with his foot positioning and use that tall, rangy frame. But, man, Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis, what a fight. If everything goes to plan and Tank can handle his business against a determined game fighter like Hector Luis Garcia, then we're in for a treat come April. Joe Allen Boxing, shout out to him. He says Garcia will drop him inside of 7 rounds. I can see it. I can definitely see it. Tank's. I feel he can be patient as we've seen with Rolly, but it's a bit easier to be patient with Rolly, who's not as experienced as Ryan, and who's not as tall and is not as fast and is not as powerful. This is a much different challenge for him. So I like the fight a lot, and I could definitely see if they exchange, Ryan lands that left hook, then Gervonta Davis might be in some big trouble. Hey, Jesus Sem, what's good, champ? Saludos. Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Thank you for joining the live. We're here talking some boxing, talking about yesterday's big news and today's big news. I mean, there's just big news everywhere. I even saw, and I won't talk too much about it right now because I want to talk about it later on in the live. But I saw that Sandor Martin is fighting Teo. I saw that the WBA just ordered Vergil Ortiz for Stanionis. So boxing, listen, we're at that time of the year. We're in the 4th quarter. Things are moving along. But boxing is alive. It's kicking, and we have things to definitely celebrate and talk about. But this fight, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, it's very big for Tank because there's a lot of people that truthfully believe that he's been in a witness protection program for a long time, that he hasn't fought the top guys, that he's been guided a certain way away from the top guys in the weight class. And listen, he beats Ryan Garcia, and if he beats him in devastating fashion, all of a sudden that makes Gervonta Davis a bigger star. I think it actually would in a lot of people's eyes legitimize him because a lot of people think there's going to be a tough fight for Tank. So yeah, man, we got my man JJ. He says Tank versus Garcia, the battle of diva supremacy. Yeah, man, these are two of the biggest stars. Two of the biggest stars we have in boxing, and I just hope it happens. I hope Tank does what he needs to do against Hector Luis Garcia, or better yet, it'll be crazy, right? Because me, I'm always like, fuck the A sides, I like them B sides, the underdogs, But be crazy if Hector Luis Garcia gave Tank a loss and just completely blew up the fight. But at the same time, even if Tank were to lose to Hector Luis Garcia, it might be one of those things like a Zaire Raheem, Eric Morales situation. Like if you guys don't remember, Eric Morales had a fight signed with Manny Pacquiao. I can't remember which one, but he had a fight signed Manny Pacquiao. But he took an interim fight with Zaire Raheem, kind of like Tank is doing now. And Zaire Raheem schooled Eric Morales horribly. But that didn't stop Eric Morales from fighting Manny Pacquiao next. So even if the crazy thing is, it's still such a money fight that I feel like even if Gervonta lost to Hector Luis Garcia, that it would still happen, and it would just be like kind of like Zaire Raheem versus Eric Morales type of thing. What do you guys think? Homeless Shelter Pigeon says, until these guys are walking down the ring, I don't believe anything. And I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. That's why I'm kind of subdued. You don't see me getting crazy and excited because tickets aren't on sale. There's no official fight poster. There's no 100% confirmed date. There's none of that. They're just basically they've agreed to a deal in principle. When we've heard this before with Joshua and Wilder and Crawford and Spence, and they had the framework and all these things. But when you factor in that Tank has a fight signed with Hector Luis Garcia, you got to question these things. So we will reserve our excitement for later on in 2023 if it comes about. But yeah, just wanted to get my little thoughts on here on this because I have been getting some comments and DMs and tweets from people asking me, BT, what do you think about Tank versus Ryan? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, maybe the fight doesn't happen and Tank does time. You know what? You might be onto something there because doesn't he have like a court case or something like that? I mean, I don't know. I don't follow that stuff, but I do know he had like a court date or something like that. I'm not thrilled, but I'm satisfied that there is some progress. Yeah, it seems like, even if it's not signed, sealed, and 100% delivered yet, at least it seems like, unlike the Crawford and Spence situation, that there's actually legitimate progress to be made. And, I feel like, and I truthfully believe PBC and Al Heyman, they didn't have the best 2022, and that's putting it lightly. So they got to come out the box in 2023, and they got to really put on the great fights and reestablish their place in the pecking order of the promoters and all that nonsense, So I think they will make some good fights happen for the boxing fans. I mean, they already made Tim Tszyu versus Charlo, great, really good fight. Plant Benavidez, really good fight. This would be blockbuster. This is what we need in boxing. We need something big. JJ wants to know, when will Arum announce Loma versus Haney versus Loma for Undisputed? I'm not so sure. They got to negotiate that. Obviously, Devin Haney has said many times if everything is right, they'll make the fight happen. We know Devin has struggled to make the weight. Maybe I could pick Mickey Bey's brain about that because Mickey Bey's going to be here later on and see what he's got to say. See what he's got to say about that fight and Devin and all that stuff. But shout out to everyone here at your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For the 20 of you that are here, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you super chat, all that good stuff. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Gonna be a long show today, man. Long show today, but a fun show, and I'm happy to be here. BT, with the information we know about Tank's trial, I think the rumor of the fight being made is true. Floyd got to make the money off of him. So yeah, you can only listen. I know Gervonta Davis has done a great job. He's a ticket seller. He makes money for Mayweather Promotions. He really is one of the only American fighters at the box office that has true value, meaning that he's a guy that can sell out an arena in LA. He can sell out an arena in New York. He can sell out an arena in Atlanta. He can literally sell out arenas in different regions of the country. And there's not really many American fighters that can do that. So he does have value, but again, like you said, he's got to at some point make the money off of him. You got to see what you really have there. And if he beats Gervonta Davis at this juncture of time with the star power he already has, that even takes it to another level. And I think hopefully it's a good fight. I hope the fight is, if they do fight, I hope the fight is great enough to where I kind of hope it's a close fight that goes to the cards, and maybe it's controversial. I hate to say that, but like, I really think boxing needs a big rivalry fight that will transcend the realms of this little bubble we know as the hardcore boxing community. We need something that's going to move the needle, and I feel like if there were fighters that could move the needle outside of boxing, if you pair them together, I feel like Tank and Ryan are those two guys. If I'm completely truthful for what David said, he should be in prison. Plus, Hector Garcia is a live dog. He is a live dog. I think one thing we learned this year, Hector Luis Garcia, is you'd be foolish to overlook him. You'd be foolish to overlook the improvements he continues to make under Bob Santos. He's a Dominican Olympian. He's now become a world champion. So, he upset Colbert as a massive underdog, became world champion. You gotta at least give him the benefit of the doubt that he's gonna raise his game, especially knowing that he's fighting Gervonta Davis. And listen, as great as Gervonta Davis is, we know he's a guy that it's not like he win. It's not like he's a guy that's the hardest to win rounds against. Plenty of guys have won rounds against him. The issue isn't winning the rounds. The issue is, can you impose your will on the fight long enough to get over the hump and beat him? Either knocking him out or boxing him. That's the real question, and we'll see if Hector Luis Garcia can answer that question come January 7th out there in DC. Hand History Vault says, we don't know if Haney versus Loma is being made, though rumors of it being in the works are there. Yeah, I don't know. We don't. There's no way for us to know if it's getting made. I'm not really too bothered about it. If it doesn't get made, I think Devin can't make the weight. Loma would be better off at 130. But listen, Devin Haney, a lot of people don't give Devin Haney credit for Kambosos. So I also understand the standpoint of like, okay, you want Devin Haney to really solidify that run at lightweight and get Lomachenko on the resume. So, for that reason, I'd to make the fight. W. Neville says, Ryan is going to get murdered. Oh, my God. Ryan Garcia is going to get murdered. Well, hey, he's letting y'all know what he thinks. And listen, Ryan, there's some cardinal sins he's made against southpaw fighters in the past, like leaving that lead foot on the inside for too long when he's jabbing, losing lead foot dominance too easily, leaving that chin in the air. These are some technical deficiencies that he needs to make sure he cleans up to the best visibility, because if he doesn't, one moment, one mistake will have him slumped all over the floor against Gervonta Tank Davis. So he's got to make sure he's on his P's and Q's. BT, I think Garcia versus Tank will be a 2-fight deal. That is if they can both get done before Tank gets locked up. So we're in a race against time. Gervonta Davis got to get these fights in before the feds come knocking at his door. My dad says, shout out to my dad. He says, this Hector is living the American dream. Opportunity is everything, and the boy has this Dominican taking the risk to get big opportunity. Yeah, he's a great example. And I say this a lot of times about the Dominican fighters. That's why I respect them. A lot of times they don't really get the luxury of getting 8-week training camps to get calls on short notice and things of that nature. And he's no different. But when he got his call, he made the most of it. That's why, we have some fighters in boxing, a lot of fighters in boxing. I know quite a few of them personally that sometimes they get offers for big fights and then they turn the fights down because they feel the money wasn't right. Okay, well, the money wasn't right and it wasn't and whatnot. But, if you believe you can win the fight, you take the fight, you take that risk, because he who isn't willing to take any risk will accomplish nothing in life, So you got to give credit to a guy like him. We saw Loma versus Rigo. I don't want to hear that Loma is too small. I agree. And I've always given Lomachenko a hard time, because he had no problem fighting an old legend in Rigondeaux when he was smaller than when the guy was smaller than him. But when Bob Arum wanted to make that Manny Pacquiao fight, and he started having real discussions about it, all of a sudden he doesn't want to make his name off an old legend. So I agree. Raw Dog says Rashidi wouldn't take the risk against Vergil. That's what I hear. I heard he turned it down. But it is what it is. Fighters make their own decisions. They got to live with the consequences or the positive effects, good, bad, or indifferent. My man Kevin Effect says Platano Power. Yes, sir. Shout out to Kevin Effect. Platano Power is in full effect. Yes, sir. Mofongo Power, too. Don't forget about Mofongo Power. And Mongu Power. Can't wait for Tank to end Ryan's career. Damn, you think it's going to be like that? Whoever gets knocked out or loses, nobody's career is getting ended in that fight. They're both still going to go on to be really good fighters and money-making attraction in the sport. I think both guys have some things to overcome. It's obviously a really good fight. That's why people are getting excited about it, because Gervonta Davis is fighting a guy that is extremely, extremely talented in Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is fighting a guy that people believe is going to knock him into the fifth dimension. So you put those things together, you put in their radical fan bases, it only makes for a big fight, what we call a momentous occasion here on True School Sports. So, yeah. Raw Dog says Ryan can outbox a Tank to a decision. PBC will have at least one judge bought and paid for by money. Yeah, that's honestly like I think that's actually Ryan's best path to victory. I wouldn't go looking to exchange and looking for a knockout. I would use what God gave him in that longer, rangier frame, and I would look to really just box him, and make him run into something. It's not like Rolly. Rolly's a shorter, stockier guy who's not like Rolly's not really a fighter that has a lot of experience, and he's a shorter, stockier guy. Tank, taller guy, longer guy, rangier guy, quicker guy, hits harder. There's a lot more tools to work with there in victory for him than there would be with the Gervonta Davis. You know what I'm saying? See, BT, who are you picking? I think their first fight will be a draw. I got Ryan in the second fight, maybe by mid to late KO. That's not a bad pick. I want to watch more film, but you know, I was just telling my boy Stacey McKinley this recently when I was at his gym. I really do think Ryan Garcia has what it takes to beat Tank. I don't think he's gonna knock him out. I actually think Ryan's gonna box a very disciplined type of game plan where he uses his long rangey frame, and I would go Ryan Garcia by decision to the cards. And if not that, maybe Tank knocks him the fuck out. It's gonna be one of those two. Maybe Ryan can knock him off the left hook, but I just think Ryan will not want to exchange with Tank, especially early on in the fight. So I would be led to believe he's gonna come in the box, and I think he could do it. Ryan Garcia gives me Amir Khan vibes if you catch him. I can see what you're saying. I wouldn't say that because the thing with Amir Khan is Amir Khan throws the same like combinations. He's very easy to time. He never really learned how to vary the speed of his punches. Amir Khan, you know what I'm saying? So with that, he became just an easy guy to time. But I don't think they're fast. They are both fast and they're both explosive, but they're not fast in the same way. If you get what I'm saying. We got our first super chat. Shout out to my guy Boxing Gems. Make sure you guys subscribe to Boxing Gems. You guys know the drill. When the super chats come out, Soda is the big bad booty daddy. So Scott Steiner put these hoes in the Steiner recliner.
Do the bump and grind. And it's only a matter of time because they call me the big bad booty daddy.
There you go. The big bad booty daddy, Boxing Gems. What he says, what up, BT? Salute to you, Boxing Gems. Hope all is well. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Boxing Gems. A guy that really is all about the X's and O's of boxing. If you're looking to learn about the fight game, the actual art of fighting, that's the guy that you want to be listening to and be watching. So make sure you go run his shit up, go subscribe to him. He deserves 100,000 subscribers, 200,000 subscribers. But every boxing fan on YouTube should be subscribed to Boxing Gems. All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But good to see you, Boxing Gems. Yeah. So like right now we're about 28 minutes in. Mickey Bey should be here. I would say sometime in the next 3 to 5 minutes because I told him 7:30. So yeah, Mickey Bey will be here. If y'all got any questions for the former IBF lightweight champion Mickey Bey, guys been working with Devin Haney, and had an awesome career in boxing, done some cool things in boxing. Make sure you have him ready. And if you got any questions later on for Atif Oberlton at 9, make sure you get those ready. You'll have time to think about Atif Oberlton, but Mickey Bey will be here soon. So yes, sir. Tank had trouble with Rolly. Yeah, I mean, a little bit here and there, but ultimately, Rolly made a mistake and he made him pay for it. And Ryan Garcia can ill afford to allow him to make any mistakes, to let Tank land those sharp, straight left hands that put out a guy like Rolly. And it's like Boxing Gems talked about. I mentioned it earlier before Boxing Gems got here. Boxing Gems said it in his video. I'm gonna say it in here. Like I said earlier, Ryan Garcia has to make sure that he establishes some sort of lead foot leverage on Gervonta Davis, so that he can actually use that long rangey frame of his. Because if he's unable to do that, it's gonna be a very long night for him, and he will get severely hurt. So that's where the fight's ultimately, I feel, gonna be won and lost. Battle positioning. Because if he wins the battle positioning, he can box Tank, and it'll set up the punches for him to eventually catch Tank, and vice versa. Tank's got to do the same thing. Make sure he doesn't allow Ryan Garcia to use those long limbs that he's got to box from the outside. You know what I'm saying? Ryan has a much improved jab, and that'll be a big key. Yeah, absolutely. That's always the key. The jab sets everything. The jab is the key that unlocks the doors to victory. If it's a one-fight deal, I have Ryan by knockout. No way Tank can beat him. It's plausible, but I just don't see it happening. Why do you feel that way, man? Because he said Tank struggled against Isak Pitbull Cruz. Well, Pitbull Cruz, that was a fight on short notice. So I wouldn't hold that against Tank too much. That was a fight on short notice. Pitbull Cruz was better than we thought. Pitbull Cruz has a very, very tight high guard that's hard to penetrate. And he wound up being very fortunate that Tank, kind of broke his hand, and Tank still found the way to win. So I'm not going to hold it too much against him that he showed against Pitbull Cruz because it was on short notice. Now, if it would have been on a full camp, bit of a different story, but I wouldn't hold it against him. Tank found the way to win. He adapted, and that's what it was. Let's see, will Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis be paid at least $10 million each? I'm not so sure. I mean, I hope he does. I hope they get compensated accordingly. Both these guys bring a lot of commercial value to the sport of boxing. Both these men are probably the only two fighters in boxing, in America at least, that you could honestly say, outside of the boxing community, they're actually known. Like you can go to people who don't watch boxing all the time, and you could tell them Gervonta Davis or Ryan Garcia, and they might know who they are. You can't tell them that with like Crawford or Spence. It's just not going to happen. Those guys don't have that kind of reach. They don't have that kind of fan base. Pitbull is tough as nails. He is. Look, I thought I had to watch Pitbull Cruz fight a couple times. I underestimated him. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he proved to be in the Tank fight. He fell a little short, but he performed very well. And I think he's still riding the high of that performance because, well, listen, we got him, guys. The human time machine is in the building. My main man, Mickey Bey. What's up?
Yo, what's up with you? You hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, what's up, man?
Okay, good. What's up with you? What you got going on?
A lot going on, man. Just good to have you here, bro. It's crazy. Like I told you this many times. I went to your fight with Rancis Bartholomew years ago. So now it's crazy. All these years later, you're I kind of like talk to you all the time now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Mickey, I wanted to pick your brain, man, because you've had like a real interesting journey in boxing. Like one thing I don't think people know about you is the whole like Emmanuel Steward connection. You were part of the Kronk boxing team. Talk about that a little bit, Emmanuel Steward.
Yeah, I think I was probably about 15 or 16 when I first kind of met him. They from right up the road. I'm from Cleveland. They from Detroit. Detroit is about like 30, 40 minutes from Ohio. So they had a good team, but we had the best team probably in the country pretty much, but we didn't have a gym. So we was pretty much just training out of a rec center with one bag, and that was it. No ring, no nothing, but we was winning nationals and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a friendly bet that we can beat Emmanuel Steward's team. And Emmanuel pretty much like, man, if y'all could beat us training like that, almost like, I'll help y'all out. So we went up to Detroit and fought, and we won. I was the main event, and I got a knockout at I was only fighting 100 pounds then.
Okay.
And I knocked the guy out, a real good fighter that they had. And, Emmanuel Steward loved knockouts more than anything.
That's what he lives by, knockouts. That's the philosophy.
Oh, yeah, Emmanuel loved knockouts. So I knocked the dude out in like the last round, man. And he, since then, he, matter of fact, rest in peace to Emmanuel. He bought my first car.
Yeah.
He bought me and my team a gym. He bought he helped. My dad was one of our head trainers at the gym, so he bought a van. He paid for trips and bought us a gym. So now we had a real gym with a ring in it and several bags, and that helped us to get about 4 or 5 guys in the Olympic trials in 1 year out of just my one gym. We had about 5 or 6 guys in the Olympic trials. But yeah, we used to go up there, and I was in a lot of camps with them with Prince Nassim and Lennox Lewis a lot. And I learned a lot from him. And his team. He got a good team too. That's what a lot of people don't know. Emmanuel got a real good team of people around him. Like, it's some great trainers some old school trainers, man, that's real good that Emmanuel pretty much learned up under.
Who do you have around him when you were with him?
He had a old man named Luther Burgess.
Luther Burgess. I heard of him.
Walter, a guy named Walt, old school Walt. I think Walter Smith. He had his nephew. I called him Jaden, Sugar Hill.
Oh, Sugar, yeah.
Yeah, I call him Jaden. You know, that's what I go, know him from. I knew Jaden for a long time. He used to matter of fact, I seen him a couple months ago and he was sharing some stories with me that I forgot about, but he got a good memory because he was sharing something that I said to him. And I'm like, dang, I do remember that now. They had Logan. Man, there was a lot of guys down there in that basement, man. It was some dudes that man, they had a lot of people. Like, it was some real good trainers.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I had the video because I remember you posted the video on Instagram where Emmanuel was signing the check and he handed it to you and you were like so happy for the car.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that was when I bought that car.
Yo, yeah?
Yeah, that's what he wrote the check for me for. It was a press conference. We was having to fight. And what's crazy is that same day was the first time that I seen LeBron James play in high school.
Oh, really?
Because I met him like a year before that when he was like 15. We about the same age. So but I didn't know but the crazy thing is I met him at one of my amateur fights and nobody knew who he was there at the time. But a year later is when he started getting a lot of hype. And right after that, he gave me and one of my teammates some tickets and we went and checked them out. But yeah, man, that was when Emmanuel wrote me that check and I got a car. Yup.
Yeah. What was like you would say maybe some of the best advice he gave you, or the thing you learned the most from him being around him?
I would say mainly as far as just in life, Emmanuel was a real giving person. You know, he was a real giving person. Me being around guys like that helped me become a giving person as well. I was fortunate to have two parents growing up in a household coming from Cleveland. I probably was the only person in the neighborhood with two parents. So a guy like Emmanuel, he was a good guy. Like, my dad didn't like getting help from nobody. He one of them old school dudes with a lot of pride. Because we come up, my father's dad was friends with Don King because Don is from Cleveland as well. So my father wouldn't get help from nobody. A lot of people was offering the stuff all over the country, and as poor as we were, I understood it when I got older because I'm like, he don't want to make it seem like somebody owned us, like, or he knew why they was trying to help us to pretty much to make it feel like we obligated to him. So I didn't know these things when I was younger, but when I got older, I thought about it. But he was comfortable with Emmanuel Steward. Because Emmanuel was so good of a guy. I mean, we'd just go up there and go eat dinner at his house sometime and just chill out for the weekend. We'd just zip back and forth a lot by being so close to the city. So, yeah, man, but as far as boxing, I learned, like, punching power, how to throw shots, extend shots correctly, and balance and stuff like that. I got some of the best pedigree that money can't buy, because right after that I met the Mayweathers.
Yeah, so you've been around the creme de la creme, top shelf boxing minds, like, as far as IQ is concerned.
Yeah, I met the Mayweathers like at the same time, like maybe a year after that. So I've been with them, probably almost 20 years, like a long time. That's really why I relocated to Vegas. When to move out here to be with Floyd and his dad and to train with them and stuff. So yeah, I was blessed to that's why I'm still around now, to be honest with you, because I had a rocky career on the political side to where I didn't get a lot of opportunities. Just because political reasons, like but by me being disciplined outside of the ring and knowing what I know, I'm still able to compete at a high level now, even with the layoffs and stuff, but just because of what I know.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great segue. Like, as far as your boxing career, I know you had the fight with Tevin Farmer that fell out a bunch of times. Are you still going to compete? And if so, is there any fights in the works?
Oh yeah. No, I got something good in the works. I kind of got like a verbal NDA, so I can't talk about it. I'm gonna tell you this. But as soon as I can put the word out, we can get back on. But now I got something big coming up. I'll say I'll probably do like a good 4 to 6 fight run.
Okay.
All big fights though, because back when I won a belt, I wanted nothing but big fights. But I could never get them. Like I would even talk to the fighters in person, and either they wouldn't want to fight or my manager, he was just green at the time. He never managed, so it was just a disaster. Like so. But one thing that I'm just blessed to be able to be around, and yeah, I'm just glad that Father Time ain't kicking in yet. So I
Yeah.
gotta get it while it's hot.
Yeah. God bless you with some good genetics and health, man.
100%. Like, man, so I'm gonna definitely capitalize and just finish the rest on the business side. I probably do about 6-7 shows now. Me and my brother been promoting, so that's kind of more of the lane I would like to get into. I was training Devin, Haney, a couple other fighters.
Yeah.
That's kind of easy to me because of what I did learn. It's easy for me to pass it to the young guys, but I'm more interested on getting into the business side of things.
Okay. My man Boxing Jim says, bro, the footwork Bey pulled off with that hook feint jab versus Kambosos was crazy.
Yeah, man, listen, but look at it like this, right? I was off 3.5 years when we fought.
I remember that, yeah.
Now people are, it was a little around 2 years, but here's the thing. I was off 3.5 years, right? So I knew I had to get my license back and get active. I went to Mexico and fought with no training. I ran like 2 days and went down there and just got a quick fight to get, so I can get back, my license and stuff back.
Yeah.
And I fought him. They offered it to me. People thought I was like nuts for taking that kind of fight with that layoff. But I'm like, it's sink or swim. Like I got to really see whether I can do this at a high level. And I don't cry robbery. I do think I beat him 7 rounds or 8 rounds out of the fight, but I wasn't prepared. He was better prepared than me. So, he got to do what he did. I had to kind of fight smart and I was rusty. So, but it was a good fight. It was a split decision. So that was actually my last fight. And I started training right after that.
Yeah.
Becoming a trainer. I became a trainer right after that.
Nah, I watched that fight like a couple months ago because I was watching it before Devin first fought George, and I was like, damn, this is better than I remembered it because I watched it live and I remember you fought really well, but then like when time, how sometimes you don't remember how good somebody fought until like you go back and watch it. It was kind of like one of those things.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. But I knew that he ain't stand a chance against Devin because I'm like. I mean, Devin is you getting a younger version that's in tip-top condition, and he been busy. So I'm like, man, he barely beat me, and I was off, and I'm 10 years older than Kambosos. Good fighter, though. Kambosos is a real good fighter. Styles make fights. Like, he can, he can come back and beat some other top fighters, but Devin Haney is just, young and just was too much for him.
It's a different tier. Like today, I was rewatching your fight with Carlos Cardenas, and
oh yeah, yup.
You look like Dev, like your style, especially in that fight. It looks very like Devin Haney. Like you could tell you trained Devin Haney at some point. The influence is there.
And the crazy thing too is we came up under that same school, and like Devin, we both worked with the Mayweathers so long. That's really why it was easy for me to train them because we know the same system. It was easy for me to step in and pick up where Senior left off. Because Floyd Senior is older now and pretty much retired, so that was pretty much the idea of why I came and partnered up with his dad. Because his dad, Floyd Senior was getting old, so they figured, let's see if we can bring me in and see how we click.
Yeah, and at some point in time, no matter how great a trainer is, they gotta always like pass that knowledge down to someone. Let somebody else take the reins.
Right. Yeah, it was easy for me to train Devin because he's so dedicated. He's so dedicated that it didn't make my job hard. Like it, because I was real selective when I was training.
Yeah,
I was super selective about who I worked with. Like because man, I got to give trainers credit. It's probably the hardest job in boxing.
Yeah. What do you think makes it so hard being a trainer?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what make it hard. Like All right, now when you're a trainer, a lot of times you're not just a trainer. You a psychologist, a therapist, a parent, and you got to know guys. You got to know his different personalities. You got to know what this guy like, what he does well, what he don't do well, the day that he off. Like it's outside of the ring problems. I was blessed because I had a few. The guys I had, didn't have too many problems, but they are young, so of course you're gonna run across some stuff. But with Devin, it was easy. Like even is that was my highest paid fighter, and he was the easiest one as far as like he gonna do his work. He's hungry. He was hungry. Like he was one of the ones that didn't make the money yet. So with him, he's a perfectionist. So it was real simple to train Devin. And I had a couple other good kids I was training too.
Yeah, I know you had Amari Jones. That was another one.
Yeah, I brought him up. Actually, I started training him before he turned pro because he was young when he first came out, maybe 16, 17. So I got a chance to groom him from the beginning. And he progressed probably more than anybody I trained. His progression, it was rapid. Like at the beginning, he went from it. He just shot and could nobody do nothing with him. Like, we went around Vegas just tearing every gym up. We ain't no gym fighters, but I'm saying it went from guys hanging in there with him to him beating everybody in. Like, this dude improved so much because he's a great listener. Like and he understood not to get spoiled by what Devin has because he actually lives with Devin Haney a lot of the times. And but he never counts his money and look at it like, okay, I'm driving in Phantoms and this and that because him and Devin is real close. They both come up from the Bay Area, but real good kid. And then I had Darren Cunningham and I was actually training Truck as well too when he was coming into town.
Okay.
So yeah, that was good crop of fighters.
Yeah, sounds like you're about to go the route of Emmanuel Steward.
I don't know if I got. To be honest with you, man, I commend those trainers because, okay, and here go another thing too. I'll say about trainers. All right, now trainers get the least. It's not a guarantee. This don't go for me because I wasn't training my kids for the money.
Yeah.
Devin was the only one I was getting paid for, and when I trained, I didn't even expect a payday or money. I just did my job and the money came with it.
Yeah.
But like I say, Devin was the only one that was able to pay me. So I gotta really have a certain love and a certain interest for that fighter. I couldn't just do it for the money. I had people offer me all kind of money if I just wanted to like be a trainer and just say I could have probably trained and made $1 million a year just off of training, but I don't have the passion to just train anybody. Like, how you got, I'm in Vegas. You live in Vegas.
Yeah.
So, I just got regular rich people and entertainers that wanted me to train them. And I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I won't do it if I don't have the passion for it. So, but trainers, like, to me, what makes it hard is you in the gym every day, just like the fighter all year round, but it's no guarantee. Like, it's no contract or no guarantee for a trainer. So, they can leave you, and if they lose, who's the first person to get blamed?
The trainer.
But if they win, it's not much credit for the trainer.
Yeah, it's a thankless job.
It is. It's a thankless job because honestly, by me becoming a trainer, when I was training, I had so much more appreciation for even my trainers back home at the beginning. I'm like, man, I owe these dudes. I didn't think of it like that because they were just training me as kids, but where I come up in Cleveland, it's so poor that they don't get a dime for training. But these guys, I know guys that probably didn't miss one day in 40 years. Like, they go to the gym every day. They in their 80s. And I think about it, I'm like, man, I gotta, I owe these cats because they put in all this work, but they don't expect or get anything. Like, and when they do turn fighters out, they go to somebody else when they turn pro. So, training, it's hot and cold, but I definitely got a lot of appreciation for the hard-working trainers.
Well, that's why I always say the amateur coaches, those guys are the lifeblood of boxing. Without them, there would be no boxing.
Oh man, listen, it's so much work. It's free. Think about it. you spending money out of your own pocket to go to trips and like I spent a bunch of money out of my own pocket just training pro fighters. It's an investment. It's an investment. So when I got older and I thought about it and I started training, I'm like, man, it made me put it into perspective. Like a lot of trainers, and I'm like, dang, like I got way more respect now for trainers. I always did anyway, but I'm talking about the bottom tier trainers. I got more respect for them because it's a lot of work.
And very little thanks. You mentioned Devin Haney, right? Like a lot of people sometimes, Mickey, they don't give Devin Haney the credit he deserves. From your time being around him, what do you feel like is the biggest misunderstanding about Devin, or what's maybe a quality that you've seen that maybe the world doesn't get to see on a normal basis?
Well, I think that Devin is real humble. Like, he's a real good guy. Like, he's real humble, and he's. I mean, he's just like when people meet him, they're like, "Oh, I thought you would have been this way." They expect him to be like arrogant or like, but he's just a well-spoken guy, just real humble, well-spoken, and he's more dedicated than. I mean, all of these young fighters, I only see about one or two of them that's even close when it comes to dedication. Like, he's dedicated to the sport. I mean, because he grew up, pretty much already having things. He didn't grow up. So it's not like a shock to him, like a culture shock as far as driving Lamborghinis and stuff like that and Rolls Royces. He's already used to that. So I think that's a big advantage, where a lot of urban type fighters and, a lot of the people that grew up in the inner cities in America. Well, I can't even say America because I know a lot of the Cubans and stuff like that, like the luxurious lifestyle.
Yeah.
So really, I say the whole hip hop community and, that whole kind of, they like to buy the cars, the jewelry and stuff, and they lose focus because it attract a lot of women. With Devin, boxing comes first. Like, it's nothing that's going to take him away from wanting to be the best. Like, that comes before anything.
Okay. What do you think about Devin? Because I know they're saying with Devin, he might be fighting Lomachenko. How do you see that fight?
Well, it's crazy because Devin wanted to fight him years ago. Like, I mean, this was 3 years ago when I first started training, and we was actually training for him when the quarantine first started. I was going into the garage actually training with him to beat Lomachenko.
Really?
He wanted to fight him then when he became the franchise champion. And even to myself, I knew he probably could have beat him, but I'm like, oh, you're only 20 right now, so you got time, like, to wait a little bit. But he just so competitive, man, that he wanted to beat the best early, like, like the old school fighters used to do. They didn't wait till they was in their 30s to fight each other. But I think that Devin is going to beat him in a wide decision. Like, Lomachenko is hard to knock out. I don't put it past Devin hurting him, but Lomachenko got a lot of one of the best fighters in the sport to me, like as far as like skills, and he still is somebody that I'm gonna watch. Like, I don't watch too many fighters. I'm selective, but I'm gonna tune in to see a Lomachenko fight because he just got a lot of skills and he likes to fight the best. Like everybody else, nobody was calling for Devin. As much as these guys want to, they jump in and pull back. They act like they want to fight him, but Lomachenko is the one that really wants to fight. Like, if anybody else wanted to fight Devin, it would have happened if their name is big enough, because Devin been wanting these fights. So, I'm sure it'll happen early 2023.
Okay. What do you think about Devin going up to 140, Mickey? Because I know, like, I always hear stories before Devin fights, like that he's putting all these guys out in the gym and sparring. I always hear them. But like,
man.
do you feel like when he moves up his power, like he's really going to be the best Devin Haney at 140?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yup, 100%. He's just so special that he's able to still dominate at 135. But I mean, we was talking about him moving up a year or two ago. So, but the opportunities presented itself. He had to stay, and then when the undisputed thing came, I mean, that's what true fighters do. Like, he didn't make excuses. He made the weight and dominated, and he's willing to stay there to get the Lomachenko fight because that's a legacy fight. That can put him, in my opinion, that should put him 5 or 6 pound for pound. You know, I got him around number 8 or 7 or 8 right now, but that should bump him up a few spots. But
yeah, it should because like nobody like I mean I know Teo fought Lomachenko a couple years ago, but apart from that, you know, Devin went to Australia. I don't really see
100%.
you don't really see like the American
Nope.
fighters. American fighters don't have to leave America if they don't want to. He did it. He didn't have to.
He did
like
it. Nope.
He did it twice.
And check this out. He did it off of the Teofimo win when he was hot. See, a lot of fighters nowadays want to see they want to see you vulnerable first before they take a fight. Like these fighters don't want to fight somebody while they smoking hot, except for guys like a Lomachenko or you know you got guys like that that's rare. But Devin wanted it while it was hot. Like he took the risk. You know when everybody was think about it when they fought, it was even. Like the odds were even. It was a lot of people thought Kambosos would win. So not only did he go there to fight, he signed with that promote to a top rank just to get the fight, a 3-fight deal. So, I mean, to me, he just left all the other young crop in the dust. There's nothing they can do after he beat Lomachenko. It's nothing they could do to catch up with him. It's going to take them years now because.
Well, they got to beat him. They got to beat him, which is
100%. That's what I was going to say. They're going to have to beat him because as good as like Tank and Shakur are, what can they do to top that? Him beating Lomachenko. And then guys like Tank, as good as he is, he's 28. Devin is doing all this at 23, 24 years old. So when he beat Lomachenko, what can they do to top that? Think about it.
Yeah. He's pretty far ahead.
He way far ahead. So that's how smart Devin is. He took the gamble. He said, you know what? I know I got to go over here. I got to sign with this promoter, but this the undisputed. I'm going to go. And he did it while it was hot. He didn't see Kambosos was undefeated when they fought. I mean, his only losses to Devin Haney.
Absolutely. I'm sure you made some good money off that fight because I always see you on Twitter talking about betting on boxing. That's
man, I killed him. Yeah, I killed him on that. Yeah, Devin. Yeah, I killed him on that. And I'm gonna kill him when he fight Lomachenko. I'm definitely gonna kill him when he fight Lomachenko because, you know, I'm sure that's gonna be pretty close. The second fight, you know, it was I actually won a big bet because I put him, Clarissa Shields, and
was a parlay
and Wilder together. I put those 3 together like a month and a half before the fight, so I caught it at the best odds. But him and Lomachenko should be. I think they're gonna have Devin like a slight favorite, but all the Lomachenko fans gonna be laying money on him. So you know I'm gonna have a ball with that one.
Yeah, and then the odds will move. You know.
Oh, they move. Yeah, so I'm a man. Yeah, you might have to come to my celebration party off that one because I'm gonna kill him on that one.
Okay, what's like the best boxing bet you've ever made? You feel like?
Well, actually, I just won one last week and I gave it out, and a lot of people made a lot of money off of that. Thomas Matisse won.
I saw that. I saw the. Well, I didn't see it. I wish I would have seen it before you tweeted it. But I saw it, you know, after.
He was plus 310 when I bet. It went down because a lot of guys that I knew was betting, but that one, let me see. I had some good ones. Bivol when he fought Canelo.
Okay. What was that? What were the odds on that one? Do you remember?
Man, he was like plus 400 or 500.
Oh, that's good money.
I won this year. What else did I won a lot. I only lost one bet this year. I lost Jojo Diaz and Zepeda. I lost on that one.
Yeah, that was a crazy fight. Zepeda threw like 1,000.
I didn't even see it. I just seen that he lost, but I won money on Jojo before against what's the other guy? Fortuna,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man, I won some. Back in the day, was the best bet I ever won in boxing was Zaire Rahim beat Eric Morales.
It was funny. I actually just I was referencing that fight earlier because you know, Tank is fighting Hector Luis Garcia, and I was saying that if Hector Luis Garcia beat Tank, I think the Tank Ryan fight would still be so big that it'll kind of like a Zaire Rahim situation. Because remember, they had
I got Tank by knockout.
Yeah, he should.
It's reasons why I know from the inside, but I ain't gonna get it.
Yeah. You can't expose nobody.
Like I say, he live in Vegas, so he might have sparred with 1 or 2 of my fighters, and the way that it went, how early it ended, I'm like, okay, I already see what it is. But I hit the over in that Canelo and Triple G, and I hit the over in the what was that heavyweight fight that just fought? I won on him.
Is it Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker?
Yep.
Okay.
I hit on Joe Joyce and the over. I went against the grain. Everybody was betting the knockout. It was plus money for the over. I bet the over.
Dang.
But I only won it by like 30 seconds because the round that he stopped him in is when it happened. And man, I won so many bets. I only lost 2 this year. One was the last week, the JoJo Diaz, and one I lost. I can't remember what it was, but it was like an under-over. But I rarely lose when it comes to boxing.
Yes, it seems
like
like
I hit on Vergil by decision. I bet Vergil to beat this last guy by decision.
Okay, and that's what happened.
I won that bet too, yup.
Okay.
And I got my next bet. I get this out for free. I got Regis Prograis.
Well, by decision or knockout or?
I just bet him straight out.
Okay.
I think he can stop him though, to be honest. But I don't know if that's something I would bet on. But I see him winning that fight.
Yeah, because that's what I picked too, was Regis Prograis.
Yeah, I got Regis beating him, yup.
I just feel like he's got a lot to prove. He hasn't had the world title fight in about 3 years. He's been ducked and avoided by a lot of guys. He's heavier-handed fighter.
Yeah, he's hungry. So but yeah, I would like to see him fight that what's his name? Okay, the other dang, what's his name? Gary Russell, his brother.
Oh, Gary Anton Russell, yeah, the one that just fought Postal.
Fight.
Yeah,
I would like to see them two fight. That's the one I lost. I bet the over in that Postal fight. Hold on, did I win or lose? I got to see what round that got stopped in.
It got stopped in the 12th.
Oh, I hit it because I bet the over, so I must have won that. I can't remember what it was. It was an under and over was my other loss, but I only lost 2 this year.
Yeah, so it sounds like you need to start a boxing betting podcast or something.
No,
like that.
I might. I honestly might come out with a site. I might. My first one might be for the Devin Haney fight, though.
Okay.
Him and
Lomachenko.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, somebody wants to know for you, Mickey, who do you got in the Zach Parker versus John Ryder fight?
Hey, that's a good question, man. Because I was looking at that yesterday.
Yeah. What are the odds for that one? I haven't checked them, but
Zach Parker minus 200.
Okay.
You know what? I just was watching him. I never seen Zach Parker, and I seen John Ryder how tough he was, and I was like, man, this might be a live dog. But when I watch Zach Parker, I'm like, I'm gonna stay away from it because Ryder is rough and he got the experience edge. But I think that what's the other guy could beat him by decision, Parker.
Yeah, because
I don't see it being a knockout.
So maybe like a controversial decision?
I would bet the over or the draw in that fight. Oh, which draw did I hit? I hit a draw not too long ago.
Let me see. What draws?
Dang, I know I posted it, and I hit on Baumgartner. What's the girl name?
Alicia Baumgartner versus Michaela Mayer. Okay.
I won on that one, and I bet the overs. I won on Clarissa by decision, and I won on Baumgartner, and I bet the over in both of those fights.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Dang, what was that? I just hit one of them draws. Man, which fight was that? I can't even remember.
Yeah, because you know what's crazy, Mickey? Like, I actually don't live in Vegas. I live in Florida, but like I've been going to Vegas so many times over the last like 2 years because you've been seeing me there so much. You think I live there?
You moved here.
Yeah, you thought I moved there? No, I haven't moved there, but like I never really cared about betting until like 2 years ago. I never bet on a fight, but like I've been paying attention more to those odds recently just because I've been going to Vegas so much.
Man, listen, they might as well hire me to be the odds maker because some fights I'll be like, man, they flip. You know who I just hit too? Andre Durrell. He was plus 130.
Oh, against Gonzalez?
Yeah, I won that one too. I won that, Andre Durrell. Those are the fights I like catching, them little underdog fights when people been offered, or I love betting underdogs. Like when it's plus money, I love it. Like because you win a couple of those, you could just bet with that money. You don't even have to come. You could bet on the winners that you got. But mind you, I don't condone table gambling because that was probably my only little vice because I never smoked, drink, drug, none of that.
Oh, when you were fighting?
Yeah, I used to I was gambling a lot on the dice table and stuff. You're gonna lose a fortune doing that. So if you think about doing that and it ain't just for fun, don't do it.
What was the most money you ever lost on the dice table?
Man, what, in one day?
Yeah, like in one day.
Probably 50,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah, nah. And what the crazy thing is, it's money I gave back. Like I probably won 30 or 40 that day and went back and lost 50 or 60.
Dang. So
That was the only thing I was ever hooked on, but it wasn't hard for me to turn it off. When I had to admit to myself, like, man, I got like, this is insane. Like I gotta quit.
yeah, no, absolutely. Was that other was the fight that you hit a draw on, was it by any chance Pedraza versus Richard Comey?
Yeah, yup, that was
Yeah,
it.
okay.
100%. That was it. Yup, it was yup. That's the exact fight it was. I hit yup the draw. I hit the draw and the over in that fight.
Okay. All
Yup,
right.
that's exactly the one it was.
Yeah.
Yup.
My man JJ says Mickey Bey the high roller.
Nah, man. I ain't a high roller though compared to these cats. But see, here's my thing. This is the good thing though. My first time gambling, I was, as far as the tables, I was like 30. So I
Okay.
wasn't a young dude out here gambling, like, But the bad part is when I first started gambling, I stayed in a condo right next door to a casino.
Oh, well, that's not hard in Vegas. There's so many casinos.
Yeah, but my high rise was literally where you could walk out and go right there to the casino.
Oh no.
Man, I was waking up at like 3 a.m. going to play. Cause I was getting a rush because I was winning. You get that beginner's luck.
Yeah.
And I don't do much else. I don't like party a lot and stuff. So I'm just like, man, this is what I like doing right now. But I'm like, yeah, when I start losing too much, I'm like, I gotta chill.
Okay. You mentioned getting into the boxing business, right? Like,
Yeah.
For someone who's you kind of like had a very interesting life in the boxing business. What would you say is like, how would you describe what the boxing business is really like for people that don't know?
Man, it's all about who you sign with and your relationship with them. Because, like, if it was moves that I didn't get a chance to make, that had I made them, I can't complain. I still made good money, but like I would be filthy rich. Like it can be one move that can make you like. It can be one move that make you 10 times richer. Like, just say somebody made 10 million, right?
Yeah.
It's a move that if you sign with this guy, you could have probably made 50. That's how crazy the game is. You could have fought to the same exact guys, but made 5 times more money. Because it depends who representing you. What time, the timing on when you sign. Like Al Heyman pretty much bought the big money in the boxing in this new era.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, fighters getting rich before they win belts or before they even really have to prove themselves, because these promoters are competing with each other. So you got Eddie Hearn, Top Rank, and Al. Those the big fish in America.
Yeah.
So they got to put up a lot of money to court to get these fighters, because they know if you go meet with a Eddie Hearn or vice versa or Al Heyman, they're going to put the bag up and they're going to sign them. So these fighters get to cash in and capitalize. And I think that I came in an era where it wasn't like the huge money like it is now at that early, but it was a couple moves that I could have made or stayed with to where it would have been even better for me. Like I was supposed to fight for a belt with 10 fights when Jay Prince was representing me, but I should have stayed with him longer.
Who are you supposed to fight?
At that time, I was like his Shakur Stevens, like,
okay,
where he was like, man, like, we was always real close, and that was my first manager as a professional, like, because I met him around that time. I met Floyd too when I was a kid, so he had me, Andre Ward, my brother, and that was it. And he had Floyd at the time. Sometimes you just eager to get to it, and you might sign with the wrong person and get stuck, and that can wipe you out a whole bunch of years. Like,
happens to so many fighters.
Man, it happened to me. Honestly, if you know my story, I think it's the worst one in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the only thing where I could blame myself is like, man, I could have stuck with, like, I was with Top Rank. I should have stayed with him instead of going with Floyd. Like, me and Floyd was close. But that didn't mean that he was better for me as a promoter. I thought that because he was like family, that was a better move to make. And I know it wasn't, but I didn't learn that. I didn't have somebody in my ear to tell me, like, like how I can give a fighter advice, because I've been through it. I didn't have that. I had the guy that I had was Floyd, who was the promoter that I signed with. Because Floyd was gonna sign me as a manager at first when I was young, like at 17, but I wasn't ready to go pro. I was like 17, 18. So instead, me and my brother just moved to Vegas and we wanted to train with his family, with his uncle and with his dad. So I think so it's just little moves like that. You want to get the best advice you can get. And you got to know the timing on things too, because everything is about timing in boxing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got stuck in, I can't say it wasn't good things with Mayweather, but I was stuck like 8-9 years in my prime. Like if I was with like just Al Heyman, or it just was so crazy, I missed out on at least 15 big fights, and you can add that up and from a legacy point and a money point.
Yeah, cause like today when I was going back and I was watching the Carlos Cardenas fight,
Yeah.
I was like, man, Mickey was. I knew you were good, you were a champion, but like I haven't actually watched you fight on film in a while, so I was like, man, he had good long right hand. The way you set the left hook up to knock him out, like he did.
And it's the crazy thing. A lot of my fights was just thrown at me in 3 weeks. Like even when I fought Rances, I trained like 3.5, 4 weeks for that.
Yeah,
that ain't enough time for no Rances Bartholomew.
No,
I don't have a camp, but I don't make excuses. I got to offer the title shot, so I had to take it, and that was a split decision. To this day, I never lost a clear fight. I got 2 split decisions, and the one where I was showboating and John Molina got the lucky punch in the last round, where I was up every round. So I don't really have a clear loss yet.
Okay, so would you say, like, because you mentioned basically like you didn't have anybody to guide you to make the right decisions when you were fighting business wise. Is that your motivation to get into the boxing business so you could help the younger guys?
Yeah, 100%. Because by me promoting now and I do 6-7 shows, I gotta admit that a lot of times the fighters are the problem too. Because a lot of times it goes both ways. Like, yeah, you got a lot of crooks in boxing. That's 100%. Because it's the only sport that you can come into and be unqualified and get into it.
Yeah.
You could just be a dude off the streets. And this guy's just becoming trainers that never even learned up under a good trainer or never fought. I'm sure you see that a lot.
Oh, my God.
You can become a trainer if you want.
Yeah. And like you see it on Instagram all the time, guys with the pad routine.
And it annoys me because they got that from my teachers, right? But it's nothing. It looked good to people, but it's not the way that Floyd and Roger. It's a total difference working with them. Like it was a purpose to it. It was a specific way to do things. But now you got dudes thinking they could just watch YouTube. That's why I stopped training, because it's too much of a gimmick. Like I came up under Mayweather. So even when I first started training Devin, I was one of the only ones that was doing the mid work that looked flashy, but it's a purpose to it when I do it, because I got it straight from the horses.
Yeah.
Because Floyd and them the one that made that up. Like see, in the Midwest where I'm from, that like we've been doing that kind of stuff. Like, like my very first boxing trainer, he came up with like Joe Louis and them. Okay. I've been ending with the double jab and doing the combinations. You see, that's a Midwest thing that we've been doing. Like, you would see that in the local gym with kids doing it. Like, and then when YouTube, everybody start watching it, and I just see people copying even stuff that I do. I'm just like, man, this is insane. I can't even. This made me not even want to train. But it's an advantage though for any fighter that I train, because they're not learning the proper techniques of things. When I do it with Devin, Devin grew up under the Mayweather system like me. So if anybody think that they're gonna train that way and beat him, they got another thing coming, because he know the correct way and the purpose of doing it.
Yeah. You mentioned the Mayweather system. How would you define the Mayweather system of boxing?
Well, all right. Well, here's something that people don't know. Like, see, Floyd Sr. is an artist. Like, he could draw real good. Like, he could have been like a professional artist. Like, he can draw.
Really? He can draw like.
No, he can paint as good enough to put it up in the museum. Like,
oh, okay. Like,
so by him being an artist, he took what he learned from the Eddie Fudges, the Dale Williams, the people that he came up under, Tony Tucker Sr. So you got to think, all of those guys trained to Joe Louis's, the greatest fighters of all time. So the guy that Floyd Sr. learned from trained probably 70% of the greatest fighters ever. So he took, by him being an artist, he made the pad work up and just put what he learned from them and made a routine out of it that was fast. So he put the shoulder roll and all that kind of stuff and certain how to catch, do this and that, how to throw the correct punches, combinations, but it's a specific way to do it.
Yeah.
When I watch these
how
guys,
to pivot into position to throw the next punch.
yeah, like him and Roger now, and he passed it to his younger brother who was Roger. So, and then Roger, I got to shout Jeff out too because that's my guy. I work with him some too. That's the youngest brother, but I think that they were just born to do it, like, man, because they just, for him to make something like that up, just show how much of a genius he is. Because when you look and you see, like, even when I did it or when Floyd did it or Devin did it, that's original stuff. Like, people just became copycats, like, maybe in the last 7-8 years. Imagine somebody trying to copy the peekaboo style from Customato.
Well, there's
been threw out of the gym.
Yeah. And there's been some pretty low level fighters that have tried, but that's why they're low level. You can't. It's a one of a kind style.
Yeah, and if it's not coming from them, you shouldn't even play around with it because it might look good. That's more for the trainer to look good. But back then, you wasn't seeing nobody with Floyd Senior, Roger, and a couple more Midwest guys doing that. Because back where we from, you see the flashy boxing where dudes is. I was seeing that when I first started boxing. You see dudes in the gym. Even though Emmanuel Steward wasn't into that stuff, a lot of his techniques is still the same. Mayweather and Floyd and Roger just did it in a faster motion and added their own. So basically what Floyd learned from the Dale Williams and all those guys, he just put it, he's an artist. So he even the music artists like Floyd that made recorded albums and everything. So that just had to be God-given for him to do that and to give it to his son since he was an infant. And, Devin been around it since he was 7 and 8, and I've been around it since a teenager. So it's kind of hard. It's going to be kind of hard to beat Devin if your trainers is mimicking any of that. He already got one up on you. And I don't care who that is. It can be the top fighters. If you trying to mimic that, you're not going to beat Devin Haney doing something that he been doing since he was 7 or 8 in the correct form.
You got to be yourself. Be yourself and do what you do.
Listen,
good.
I appreciate the original trainers like the Derrick James, Ronnie Shields. Even I already see you interviewing Stacy McKinley. Like
Absolutely.
I work with him some.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, being at Don King camp. Another top. Most top trainers really don't have big names in this era. But most of these people won't be able to identify a top trainer. I could hear a guy for 3 minutes and know that they're authentic and see. Number one, with me, I want to know where you got this from and who taught it to you firsthand. Because I see dudes pop up in the gym it'd be dudes at the Mayweather gyms trying to be like Roger and Floyd. I'm like, the audacity of these dudes is just sick, man. I'm like, man,
you guys are stupid.
Yeah, I'm like, man, these dudes is crazy. But yeah, it's a lot of the trainers that I respect as guys that do their own thing.
Okay. My man, El Jefe says, why did you vacate the belt and not fight Denis Shafikov?
That was an easy fight for me. I would have destroyed him, but I had to vacate it because my manager made the fight after I got hand surgery. He offered me a amount of money I couldn't refuse. And then he switched the money up on me. When he put it out in the media and then it was 5 times less than what he said. So I was gonna fight him with my hand not all the way healed for the money that he told me, but then he switched it up on me. But that's a whole long story. But that was an easy fight for me. Like Shafikov was tailor made for me.
Yeah, Shafikov. I remember him. He is like pressed. He pressed forward a lot.
Easy for me. Short, slow. Like I would have destroyed him. But like I say, from there my career tanked and went downhill. A lot of stuff I just kept quiet, but eventually my full story is gonna come out. Like,
yeah.
But that dude destroyed my career and a lot of other ones. Like,
okay, is there a guy that in your prime like you wish like you would have fought? Like what's the one fight you really wanted to get that?
I was supposed to fight Linares. He didn't want to fight. I was supposed to fight what's his name, Omar Figueroa.
Okay,
we was all champions at the same time. I wanted to win all of the belts. None of them would fight me though. I wanted to fight them early on. Because Jay Prince, when he was managing me, we had a an idea of me trying to break De La Hoya's record at 130 at the time I was fighting. I think De La Hoya won it with 12 fights. I was gonna try to get it at 11.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I was the kind of guy that would have fought anybody and still will. That's why. See, I'm not delusional. A lot of fighters, they still fight when they get beat up, knocked out. That's insane to me. I want to have my speech and everything. Like if I was to fight Kevin and he beat me, shut me out, I'm done with boxing because I know that this is a dude that couldn't have beat me in my prime. But my prime is something that nobody got to see because, like I say, a lot of the fights I was getting was underhanded because me and my manager was having the beef. So he was throwing fights at me continuously, trying to get, and it never worked. Like I was still winning and was still like, so
You were still making it happen.
Yeah, so that's just a whole nother thing. But before I leave the game, I just want like 3 or 4 real good matches and to call it a day because I'm like how Juan Manuel Marquez was. He fought till he was 44 and won his last fight. I think it was against Mike Alvarado.
It was, yeah.
And if I'm mistaken, now you got Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Pop. When you got a certain pedigree, you can fight. I've been off so many years that my body is still fresh, but I'm not delusional to where I'm sitting up saying I'm gonna become pound for pound. I want to. No, I just want to prove to the world, like, man, if this dude could fight at this level, almost 40, I can't imagine what he would have done in his 20s and his early 30s. I want to make that statement and get out the game.
Well, my advice to anybody that wants to know what Mickey Bey would have been like when he was younger, just go watch the Carlos Cardenas fight, and you'll have an idea.
Yeah, man. I told Floyd with Ron I was gonna knock him out in because he told me if you do it, I'm gonna give you some money, and I did. I told him, watch, it's gonna be 3rd round. But yeah, man. But I don't cry or complain. That's just my story. Like it could be worse. Stuff could be worse. I'm still doing good. I'm living good, and it's just how much I got shortchanged. So even if I did make some money, it's a difference when you make a fortune and you just I say, it's other things that you can do, the more money you got, so, but I made good money and I smartened up and made good investments and so I'm still blessed at the same time. I can't complain. Like it's fighters that, that do real bad when they retire. Like, I even got to jump in and my first fight as a trainer was Devin Haney. So
blessed.
Yeah, so I can't complain. There's people that got it way worse than me, but just as far as people that know, like, damn, man, you got screwed over. Like especially in that situation, like I say, early on, yeah, I should have stayed with Jay Prince in Top Rank. That was one where I could say that was on me for leaving and going to Floyd. Now, that situation, I did everything. I sat back and took everything. Now, in that situation, if I played that situation the way I played, if I would have played Top Rank how I played, it would have been over with.
Yeah,
it would have been a wrap. Like I'd have had 5, 6 titles by now.
Yeah.
So well, it is to say to fighters, like, you got to realize where you came from and always remember that at the end of the day, any fight can be your last in boxing, even as it is, not even just from losing, but from just a certain injury. So you gotta factor in if most of us came from the hood. So
yeah,
I always thought like that. But when you're younger, you think you got time. But when I got with Mayweather Promotions is when I was figuring I was going to really cash in and make up for that time. And then that's when I was in the situation to where I seen like, dang, man, I should have played. I should have just stuck, but it is what it is. I can't, like I say, I still can't complain.
I was going to say, like, I know fighters that were pay-per-view stars that were at like an extremely, extremely high level, and you're probably, you wound up better than most of them.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't get that momentum. Like he was saying, I had to vacate my belt. I didn't lose it. And this was an error that my manager made. And for him to do that, like the way it happened was just, that was the only time in my life where somebody just did something that I couldn't forgive. Like anything else, I could be like, all right, that was a human mistake. But it was no apology because everybody on the inside know what was done and know what could have happened for me after that. Like, so my thing was almost like, okay, it is what it is. But let me move forward. Don't stop what I got going for me next. Like, if I got a big offers on the table and for you to pull the plug out on them, that's what the part that just
It's
angers
wrong.
me. Like,
Yeah, it's wrong.
yeah, because I'm willing to you can get a piece of the pie, but at the end, I would rather you not pull the plug and just take my opportunities off the table. I would rather you just keep stealing money from me, but just not as much.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, so
I got one more question for you, Mickey. Then I'm gonna let you get up and out of here.
all right.
You mentioned you still want to fight. Is there a couple names out there that you want to get in the ring with before you?
Well, me, I got to get Devin because, like, I mean, I put that situation out. We both got robbed on that one. Dude just took all the money and did what,
It's disgraceful.
That story in itself, is just disgraceful. But I think we got to run that. We got to make that happen because at the end of the day, that's a big fight. He haven't fought. I'm still several years older than him, but he's a good fighter and it's a dangerous fight. So I want a dangerous fight. To me, up under Tank, the Ryan Garcia's, to me, he was the best one. So I'm like, this is the kind of smoke that I want because me beating him, it'd be like, damn, how the hell he come back off the layoff and he almost 40 to beat Tevin Farmer.
Yeah.
And then that can give me the other 2 or 3. Who I wanted to fight? Lomachenko. I said it. I think I was doing an interview with Blue Blood, and that's what I said. Like, because when he fought that kid, I could have beat him on a night like that. What's the guy that just fought?
Jermaine Ortiz.
I seen that coming. I seen that coming. I'm like, I think that he not gonna look as good his first fight back. I want to get him on one of them nights. Cause like I say, I'm not delusional to where I'm at. I'm as good as I could have been at 32, but I'm smarter than I ever was. But I got more knowledge now and I'm smarter. So I wanted to fight Lomachenko. Other than that, I like to fight Ryan, Tank, anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody, but of course, but Devin, but he's getting ready to move up anyway. But I'll fight. I'll fight anybody, to be honest with you. If it makes sense. But me beating Devin will show that, he not just a dude that's coming in here that's just older that shouldn't be in the ring. Like, dudes are gonna see, like, damn, this dude is nice and he still got it.
He beat a former world champion. A guy that was champion. And
yeah, 100. And because I almost pulled it off against Kambosos.
That wasn't that long ago. That wasn't too long ago.
That was my last fight. So yeah, and I'm way better than that now because I did a 4-week training camp cold turkey for that fight. So now I've been training pretty much all of this year. So with Tevin, it's a difficult fight, but I want that because me beating him will shoot me straight to the top because I don't want to be here long. Like, I'm not, like I say, people probably might be disappointed when I retire because they're going to say, damn, you still got a lot left. But at my age, you would rather go out on top. You can get old in one night in the ring. Like,
yeah, go out on a high. Go on a high.
I'm going to go out on a high. I'm not finna I'm sitting here talking to you with a clear speech. I done seen too many fighters slurring and not being able to talk, and they drooling when they talk. And that's just not how I'm going to be.
Yeah, I don't want to ever interview you and then have to edit the video with subtitles, like,
oh no,
like exactly. I've interviewed like Riddick Bowe a lot, and people can't understand him.
Right, man. And the boxing game is cruel. Like, when it's over, it's over. And if you didn't leave with integrity, like when it come to putting your money up, see, I learned from that. I knew not to, fighters be. I seen Hall of Fame fighters get shitted on just because they don't have a lot of money, like. Because, people treat you different when, you got money and stuff. Like, it's just crazy, man. This sport is crazy when you on the downside.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. But, Mickey, pleasure talking to you, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We'll talk soon as I get this next fight, man.
Yes, as soon as you get a fight date.
And it's definitely on the big card, too, so I'm going to get right back with you.
Okay, all right. You got that on Instagram.
Okay. All
right. So there he is, man. The human time machine himself, Mickey Bey. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We was going for like a solid, like an hour or so. So yeah, man. Shout out to Mickey Bey. I appreciate him taking the time to come. Not just talk about Devin Haney, but obviously himself because he's had a very interesting life and path in boxing. And just that's what it's about, man. It's about guys like him, who really have put that work in and been great for the sport, So shout out to everyone here, man. It's the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm out here running a marathon right now. I'm running a straight marathon right now, So that was our first interview. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. we're gonna have Atif Oberlton, the light heavyweight prospect, on the live. So if you guys got any questions for Atif Oberlton, a guy that I truthfully believe is Al Heyman's best prospect, feel free to drop them down below when he gets here. We're here, man. Make sure you smash that like button, tell a friend to tell a friend. Kevin Effect says, great interview. Thank you, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. I try to. One thing of me when I interview these fighters, I know I talk a lot when I do my videos. When I interview the fighters, I kind of just try to shut up and listen and try to, pick my spots when to talk and let them talk, because you guys want to hear from them. You don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from them. So hope you guys enjoyed the Mickey Bey interview. Kevin Effect asks, how prevalent are non-disclosures in boxing, agreements in boxing? I probably should have highlighted this when Mickey Bey was here, but they're pretty prevalent. Like I've got friends in the fight game. I've got friends that are pros at a pretty high level, and I just know that they are. They're a lot more prevalent than you would think. That's why when a fighter has a fight signed, they don't want to talk about it until it's announced formally, because if they do, then that could be a breach of contract, and it could put the fighter in a bunch of legal trouble. So that's why you don't see fighters talking about fights that they have signed in the back doors, before they're actually, about to go ahead. You know what I'm saying? So we got like 30 minutes till Atif Oberlton gets here. So if y'all got any questions, let me know, and I'll definitely be happy to answer anything you guys got. Let me see. What is your prediction for Tank versus Ryan? It's a good fight. I know Tank probably a slight favorite. But over the last couple of fights and just seeing how Ryan's dealt with things, and then when I saw him train in person, Ryan Garcia is really, really good. I don't think people quite understand how good he is. And I think this is the fight where he's really going to prove it to the world. I've got Ryan by decision. I don't think he's going to knock him out, but I think it goes to the cards, and he gets a decision. He uses that long, tall, rangy frame, stays disciplined, and gets the job done. But yeah. Tank Davis ducked Gary Anton Russell and cherry-picked a smaller, beatable guy. Typical Floyd PBC behavior. Well, as far as Hector Luis Garcia, I get it. Like, Hector's never fought at 135 ever. He just had his first fight at 130, became champion. He's mainly really been a career featherweight. But, I like the fight. I like the fight for what it is. You guys gotta understand what that fight is. The fight is not a fight for Tank to go in there and lose. The fight's a fight for Tank to stay sharp and get ready for Ryan Garcia. That's what it's about. It's a tune-up fight. As far as him ducking Gary Anton Russell, I guess. I don't know. If the fight with Ryan Garcia is actually a real thing, then I'm not mad about it. So we'll see. If there's no Ryan Garcia fight after this, if he beats Hector and there's no Ryan fight after this, then I'll have a lot to say. But until then, I'm going to reserve all anger. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. That happened before. Floyd had scheduled fight, but terminated it once the opposite team announced before Floyd. Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens in boxing. So that's why whatever fight Mickey Bey said he had signed on a big card, which, he didn't say what card. He said a big card, and he said he's got something in the works. He said he'll be here. Mickey's pretty damn cool. It's crazy. I've been in Vegas so many times the last 2 years. He thought I lived in Vegas, and I don't live in Florida. But anyway, yeah, man, we're here. Hyro said it's sad that a champion is a tune-up. Yeah, well, he is. He's not a champion at 135. Hyro, he's never competed at the weight class. It's like this in a way is kind of like when Canelo fought Golovkin at 68. Golovkin's a really good fighter at 160. Never fought at 68. Same thing with Garcia. Garcia's really good fighter at featherweight. Just became a champion at 130, but he's never competed at 135. So therefore, it's going to be looked at to be a cherry pick. It's going to be looked at to be, the kind of fight where it is a tune-up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, the Untouchable, True School Sports Empire. We're live here. It is 8:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Program reminder. I want to give you guys a program reminder because I know this week has been very, very, we've had some little announcements in boxing, but I'm talking about as far as like what we have going on in the ring this weekend. We don't really have a lot going on this weekend. We had that Hasim Rahman Misfits thing going on, and then we got Jaime Munguia versus Gonzalo Correa. That's really the only fight we got going on this weekend. So it's a pretty slow week for boxing as far as fights go, but the next week it really picks up because next week we're going to have 4 fight cards to close out the month. We're going to have Prograis Zepeda, Ryder Parker, Dillian White, Jermaine Franklin all on the same day, and then the following day in the UK, we're going to have Adam Azim against Ryan Charlton. So 4 cards in 2 days next weekend. That'll definitely make up for what's going to be a slow, more lackluster week here in boxing this Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Arizona Slugger, shout out to me, says AZ tapping in. Shout out to Arizona, man. Got mad love for Arizona. I've never been there, but I've messed with a couple girls from Arizona, and I love them. So shout out to Arizona, man. Isn't Hector Luis Garcia? Isn't Hector like Leo Santa Cruz? He's a featherweight that has a belt at 130. I mean, I never really thought about that, but yeah, you could say that. You could kind of say he's kind of like Leo Santa Cruz. So yeah, this is probably a Leo Santa Cruz 2.0, a glorified Leo Santa Cruz. But look, if we're getting the Ryan Garcia fight next, then I'm not going to complain. But that's a big if, especially when you consider all the fights in boxing that have fallen by the wayside, and haven't happened for whatever the case may be. So, yeah, man. Is Hector Luis? Is Munguia stays calling out these inactive, irrelevant guys? It's sad. And look, Munguia is one of these guys. Like I think the term protected, like a lot of people say this guy's protected, that guy's protected a lot. But I really do think that word is extremely applicable when it comes to the career of Jaime Munguia. I mean, for Christ's sakes, this guy Jaime Munguia, over and over and over again, he just fights people that the public's not really interested in seeing him fighting. Like, for example, this guy, Fat Bastard, says that Johnny Beck is trash, right? So Johnny Beck is trash. Jaime Munguia is fighting a guy this weekend whom Johnny Beck already knocked out in 2 rounds. So if Johnny Beck is trash and Jaime Munguia is fighting his leftovers, then what does that say right now about what's going on with Jaime Munguia? It says quite a lot. So, it is what it is. But yeah, a lot of things are happening in boxing. I guess I'll use this time while I'm waiting for Atif at 9 o'clock. I'll use this time to talk about maybe some of the other topics in boxing that I have had a chance to make videos about yet, because I've been very busy this week catching up on some videos that I've been wanting to make. But we got some good news, guys. Listen, I don't know if this means the fight's going to happen, but apparently the WBA has in fact ordered Stanionis to defend his WBA regular welterweight belt against Vergil Ortiz next. So that would be a good fight. We don't know if that's what's going to happen, because obviously there's speculation about if Jaron Ennis is going to fight Stanionis, because he's high in the WBA rankings. He's talking about he's got a fight coming up in 8 weeks. Stanionis has been hinting at a fight coming up soon, in not too long from now. So we'll see what happens. But look, if we can get Stanionis against either one of them, I think it's a step in the right direction for the welterweight division. If we can get it on the Keith Thurman, Earl Spence card whenever that gets announced, that's an even better step for the welterweight division, because that's what we need in boxing. We need clarity, especially at that 147 weight class where these dudes really are not fighting each other. They're not getting active. They're not really getting to that point where these O's are like Keith Thurman once said, I have an O and I'm not afraid to let it go. But it just seems like maybe the fighters aren't afraid to let the O's go, but the managers and the handlers, they're afraid to not let the O's go. So it's just a sad state of affairs. But yeah, anyway, I want to see Stanionis get his shot. I think he earned it when he beat Butiev last year. Butiev beat Jamal James, who was a highly ranked contender. I was there. That was on the same card as Boots versus Thomas Delorme. So naturally, the progression should be that we get that next. So that's a good fight. And then, funny enough, a lot of people were complaining that Teofimo Lopez, they didn't like the Pedraza fight, that they kind of hated the fact that, Pedraza was getting the fight. And some people went as far as to say, like, he was getting Puerto Rican privilege and things like that because they were fighting in New York. But now it seems like he's pulled out the fight, or for whatever the case may be. And now Teofimo Lopez will now face Sandor Martin December 10th in New York City, which I think is a much better fight because no disrespect to Pedraza, who's a good fighter, but Martin deserves his chance. Sandor Martin has earned his chance at a big fight. He beat Mikey Garcia. He got him out of the sport, and he hasn't been afforded the chance to really do much of anything. And then on top of that, you look at the way the WBC has constantly moved him up and down the rankings. He was never going to get a chance at the WBC, and his handlers and his manager made a big deal about that when they went ahead and talked to Mauricio Suleiman. So, yeah, man, Sandor Martin gets his chance. I think Teofimo Lopez, the last fight, he fought Pedro Campa, who was kind of like a plotter, didn't really have a whole lot with him. Now he's fighting Sandor Martin, a fighter that, for all intents and purposes, is not a big puncher, but, a guy that likes to box and move and whatnot. So this will give Teo a chance to work on some things and beat a guy that's ranked. That's a good fighter. David S. just says, I think Edwin De Los Santos would have been a better fight than Hector Garcia, even though he's technically a natural 130-pounder. You know what? I agree with that. But the reality is, David S., we already seen what Edwin De Los Santos did to what he did to basically one of the PBC's top young guys. So I don't think they're going to be so quick to do that with Tank, even though people would favor Tank. Edwin De Los Santos is dangerous. He's southpaw. He can punch. He's hungry. He's got nothing to lose. It's a dangerous guy. I want to make the I would say make the fight, but they're not going to want to do that because if they actually have a Ryan Garcia deal in place, then they're not going to risk it with a guy like Edwin De Los Santos. He could really fuck all that up in a major way. Is Boo Boo retired? Have you talked to Paul? I have not talked to Paul Andrade. I've been telling myself I got to call him soon for like weeks on end now, but I just haven't did it because just been busy. But got to call him soon. Maybe I get him here on the channel next week. But yeah, I like to know that myself. Boo Boo still, even though I've been hard on Boo Boo and people say you're a Boo Boo hater this, you're a Boo Boo hater that. I'm still an Andrade fan. I just want to see him, get it together, man, and get those fights. Lopez is going to kill Sandor Martin. That fight is trash, but it's understandable, though, because it's an eliminator fight. Yeah, and he wins that fight. He'll probably wind up ultimately, the way I think that's going to play out at 140 is I think Teofimo Lopez is going to essentially fight Liam Paro. I think Liam Paro and him. I think Taylor, I don't know if the belt is vacant, but if it's not vacant, I think Taylor drops the belt after the Catterall fight or whatever, if he beats Catterall. And then I think the WBO will order Teofimo Lopez to fight Liam Paro for the vacant belt, and that will be his route to becoming world champion, beating Liam Paro, who, by the way, Liam Paro is not a bad fighter. And in fact, I actually messaged Liam Paro recently to do an interview, and he said he was down for it. So we're just trying to lock down a time for next week, and we'll have Liam Paro on here next week. But yeah, man, that'd be a good fight. See, my man Hyro's excited about it. He says, finally, Teofimo is in a real fight, not some washed weight bully Puerto Rican. That Jose Ramirez fight upset me. With Pedraza, yeah, that was an annoying fight to watch because you could tell in spots Pedraza had a success boxing. He had his fair share of success, basically, doing what he does best, but just was too inconsistent, gave up too much ground too easily to Jose Ramirez and allowed Jose Ramirez to close that gap way easier than he should have. So I definitely understand Hyro's frustrations. David Esther says, El Rayo was that dude. He was until Edwin De Los Santos came along and then, got exposed. And, all jokes aside, Rayo can build himself back up. He's a good fighter. These pair-ups preserve boxing champions records, but do not enhance the boxers' careers. Vergil Ortiz versus Conor Ben would have been good publicity, fight that would have helped the winner. I agree, but unfortunately, your boy Conor Ben, he was taking that gear, he was taking them PEDs, and he was looking like an action figure, and yeah, that's what happened to him. So it's a sad state of affairs going on in boxing. What belt is Regis fighting for? He's fighting for the vacant WBC title at 140. That's the belt he's fighting for at this moment in time. Why is everyone so upset that Regis knocks out? Why is everyone so upset that Regis knocks out Zepeda? Because, well, I don't know why. I can't talk about everybody else, but I can talk about me, myself, and I. True School Sports, the untouchable BT. I think he's gonna beat Zepeda, and more than likely it'll be by knockout because number one, Zepeda ain't too far removed from that fight with Baranchik, where that even though he won, it took a lot out of him, and he hasn't really faced a heavy-handed fighter since. Factor that in with the fact that Regis Prograis is a guy that when he hits you, when he hits guys, he gets their attention and their respect automatically. And Zepeda isn't necessarily a back foot boxer, so he's gonna be there in exchanges and be there to get hit. I think it's just a fight where the style matchup it lends to what Regis Prograis likes to do. You know what I'm saying? El Rayo did something Pitbull Cruz couldn't do. Stop Francisco Vargas, who had a rep of a dude with a good chin, even though he had been stopped by Berchelt on cuts. It's crazy that you say that because I completely forgot about that fight. Remember, I was live for that. That was on the Spence Ugas undercard. And that's kind of sad. Honestly, like I know triangle theories don't work, but in a way that is kind of sad because and it's sad not because Pitbull Cruz could have knocked him out, but it's sad because of this ridiculous hype that he's been getting as the Mexican Mike Tyson, when in all reality, Pitbull Cruz isn't really like a big knockout artist like that. That's why every time he gets a knockout, it's a big deal because it doesn't happen often. Yeah, man. I was there that night. That was in Houston on the Jamal Charlo Montiel card. That was the same card that my boy Angelo Leo fought on. And I remember Angelo beat Aaron Alameda in a good fight. Regis is hungry. This opportunity took way too long. Still the best fighter at 140, if you ask me. Yeah, no, absolutely. He's a great fighter. A lot of people believe that if the Josh Taylor fight would have been in America, he would have actually got the decision. And you've seen him when he gets matched up with these guys that are not on his level, i.e., such as guys like Juan Heraldez. Who else did he fight? Tyrone McKenna, and who else did he fight? I can't remember who the other guy he fought was. He's getting these guys out 6 rounds or less, knocking them out cold, destroying them, showing his level and showing his class. So, hey, it's a chance for him to really show and reestablish himself as a world champion and let these dudes know, because he's a good example. Regis is a great example of a fighter that he's an example of why fighters don't fight the best right away. Because look what happened. He fought the best right away when he got the belt in Taylor in a tournament. He lost. And now he couldn't get fights for years. And he lost years off his career because of the way boxing is structured these days. So I'm just happy he's getting a chance. People want to say that Zepeda fought better people. I don't think so. The guy for the Miller gym that wasn't good, life and death with the old Ivan, didn't look good against Hank Lundy. We just got defense. I agree. Who's saying that Zepeda fought better people? I mean, it was okay. Even if you say that, apart from Josh Taylor, even if you say that Zepeda fought better people, well, that's because these guys don't want to fight Regis Prograis. And evidence of that is look at all these guys around 35 and 40. Nobody's called his name. He only got a big fight because he was in a tournament. His biggest fight of his career is literally him in a tournament. It's not from a guy saying, "Hey, you're a really good fighter. I want to fight you." It's from a tournament. So never let that go over your head. Regis Prograis is another dude that Tank Davis is scared to death of. You think so? I wouldn't say he's scared to death of him. I don't think Tank is scared, but I would definitely say that Leonard Ellerby is scared of him. I would say that maybe the promotion is scared of him because you got to understand, they built Tank up into an attraction, and we live in a very fickle world in the fight game. And a loss, it shouldn't be this way. And we're trying to do our best on True School Sports to make sure we respect as many fighters as possible, even when they lose. But, a loss would hurt his quote unquote, I hate to use this word, but market value, so. It's not worth $60, but if I could tip $10, I would to the Prograis fight for pay-per-view. Yeah, man. Gary Antonio Russell is a big disappointment at 118. You think so? I mean, look, I'm not here to down nobody. I respect all the fighters, but like, I watched Gary Antonio Russell fight on the Fulton Figueroa card last year in Vegas at the Park MGM, and he's an okay little fighter, but I didn't see anything crazy there. I didn't see a guy that was going to go on to become a world champion or anything like that. So yeah. If Regis is the best to offer at 140, Haney is going to look like a boxing god at 140. That'd be a good fight. I want to see it. Devin Haney versus Prograis be a good fight. See how Devin Haney deals with a southpaw power punching top class fight like Regis Prograis. That's what we want to see in boxing, matchups like that. Ivan Redcatch is a disgrace to boxing after that Chiller debacle. Yeah, honestly, I forgot that Regis even fought him. That was the other fighter. It was Geraldes, Redcatch, and then Tyrone McKenna. So, man, Regis has had probably one of the hardest roads in boxing since he lost his title. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Dandada says, Gary Antonio Russell exposed! Yes, sir. Oh, man. Regis Prograis knocks the snot out of Devin Haney. I want to see it, man. It'd be a great fight. We need to get a move on, champ. Make boxing great again. This year was supposed to be the year of no excuses, no dishonor. There was a lot of excuses and a lot of dishonor. So next year, 2023 here on True School Sports is the year of no excuses and no dishonor. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yes, sir. But listen, guys, look, it's 8:52 right now, p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means it would be 5:52 p.m. Pacific Time. So shout out to all my people on the West Coast, California, Arizona, Las Vegas, stand up. We here, man, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. We got about 8 minutes left until our next guest comes. And for those of you that don't know, it will be none other than Lord Pretty Calvo himself, Philadelphia's very own Atif Oberlton. So make sure you guys definitely get your questions ready for Atif. This is a guy that I truly believe in my heart of hearts is Al Heyman's best prospect. I feel like Al Heyman, and PBC need to get him on TV more because, I went to a couple cards where he's fought on the cards, but he hasn't even been on the television portion of it. And I feel like people are missing out on a superior talent in the light heavyweight division. They're missing out on a guy that, if we're talking about maybe a year or 2 years from now, he could be the next light heavyweight champion of the world. And it's, at 5-0, I know it's kind of premature to say because maybe he hasn't had that tough fight yet to where we know, and you never know what's going to happen until that fight comes. But based on what I've seen, based on what I know, and based on my boxing eye, which I think I'm pretty good at evaluating talent in boxing, he can really fight his ass off, and I do anticipate that at some point he will be a champion. Because Bivol and Beterbiev, as great as they are, they're no spring chickens. They're not going to be there forever. So while we're enjoying the greatness of Bivol and Beterbiev, we have to look at who could potentially be the future in the light heavyweight division. And when I look at the future, when I get on my Miss Cleo crystal ball type shit, I see Atif Oberlton being a massive part of a big future in the light heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? By the way, Hyro, I did get your message earlier on Instagram. I will get you that Kazuto Ioka audio before I go to sleep tonight. I'm just doing. I got a lot of things going on right now. This long live today. Got other videos I got to edit. I'm gonna get you that Kazuto Ioka audio tonight before I go to sleep. So let there be no worries about that. But yeah, Teo versus Haney is the money fight at 140 as long as both keep winning. Well, look, Sandor Martin, apart from unless Teofimo can't cut the ring off or get his foot on the outside, like Sandor Martin's a fight where he should win. Devin Haney, he's gonna fight Lomachenko. Mickey Bey, who was just on here, shout out to him. He has every right to believe that Devin's gonna fight him next. So why not? Why not? Dundada says Christian and Billy versus Demetrius Andrade. I love that fight. Christian and Billy, hard, strong, durable, just a ferocious guy at 168. He's a fighter that a lot of guys I don't think are going to be anxious to fight. So to me, look, if Andre wants to turn his career around from what was a debacle with Johnny Beck and the Zach Parker situation, I think that'd be a great way to rewrite some of those wrongs. Fighting a guy like Christian Billy, a guy who is high risk, low reward. Well, not low reward. He's a high risk, high reward. Because I can't say he's low reward because right now he's the number one contender in the WBC, and he's damn near in position for a world title shot. So you beat him, you're right there. You're right there, right in the mix at the top of 168. So be a hell of a fight. And I also think that fight would give us a real good measuring stick, a barometer of just where the conditioning of Demetrius Andrade is at this moment in time, because we don't know. We don't know at this moment, and he hasn't been fighting. He hasn't been the most active. So we'll see how it goes. We'll definitely see how it goes. Anthony Yarde to win by KO, TKO, or DQ in this tune-up. Minus 3,500 odds. Oh my God. Yeah, they're not making. There's no value in that. I'm not Mickey Bey, when it comes to the betting. I might need to, man, because some of these odds, he's not wrong. Like, Mickey Bey isn't wrong about the odds in boxing. Sometimes, like, I look at odds myself and I'm like, man, these odds are horrible. I mean, like, they're horrible as far as, like, they're good for the bettors, but they're not, like, people who make the odds are stupid sometimes, but that's really bad. So if he's a minus 3,500, then what the hell? What's his opponent? What's the plus for his opponent? Do you know? That's what I want to hear. I want to know how much of a plus his opponent is. You can let me know in the comments. That'd be crazy. Oh my God, that's this weekend too. Yeah, Anthony Yarde is this weekend. So shit, Anthony Yarde's this weekend. I might have to check that out. Watch the 2-0 fight, see what happens. But I'll probably win, and then that'll set up the big fight with Better BF. A guy that's in the same weight class as Atif Oberlton, who I'm definitely going to ask him about. I really like Vergil Ortiz, but people need to pipe down about Crawford avoiding him. He turned down the fight last year when the WBO ordered Sean Porter. Now he's fighting in another sanctioning body's organizational rankings. Well, I get what you're saying. I would like to see him. I don't know. Crawford's interesting because Crawford said a bunch of stuff, which I don't want to get into right now because we beat that like a dead horse. But Crawford talked about being a boss and doing whatever he wants when it came to Spence. But then when it comes to Ennis and Vergil, he said the names never came up. But if he's the guy that's in charge calling the shots, then why their names can come up if you want them to come up? That's the line of thought that people who criticize him for that are thinking. But I get what you're saying, David. Russian Wolfhound says, LOL, I just remember, did you hear recently Eddie Hearn said Canelo can't beat Dimitri Bivol? It's difficult for Eddie to work with Canelo, and he's showing his frustration now. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Listen, Eddie Hearn has gotten a big reality check that while Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter, he's a human being and he can lose a fight, and he's not beating a guy like Dimitri Bivol. And there's no shame in that because the way I'm seeing it, there's probably not a whole lot of guys in boxing beating a Bivol right now because he's just on that level right now. He's operating at a high level. He's a great technical fighter, and he's mastered the art of boxing. There's a lot of good fighters in boxing. There's a lot of guys that are talented and have ability, but there's very few guys that you can say have truly mastered boxing. He has mastered the sport of boxing. What are my thoughts? Politics as usual. I mean, I don't have many thoughts beyond that. Golovkin should retire. He looked like he wanted to retire after the Canelo fight. Harrison is a good boxer, but it's hard for me to see him box Fundora. Fundora and Charlo is an exciting fight. I hope it can happen. Well, Fundora is going to have to get past, Tony super bad Harrison. You know what I'm saying? And that's not going to be an easy task because it's never an easy task against Tony Harrison because he's got, you could say, the best technical skills of anybody at 54. It's just his gas tank that lets him down and his stamina that lets him down. But other than that, he's as solid as they come at 54. Yeah, but at some point, like even if he is using Canelo as a pawn, he's gonna have to have one of these young American fighters that he signed, like Diego Pacheco, Mark Castro, Ammo Williams. Someone from that class of Matchroom Boxing USA has to break out and become a star. And right now, all Matchroom Boxing USA fighters seem a long ways away from breaking out and becoming, stars. But Pacheco, he's got a good fight coming up on the Cholatito on the card. He's fighting the Russian Timo Karov, whatever his name is, the trainer that trains with Sugar Hill Steward. That's gonna be a tough fight. Diego better be on his P's and Q's because if he's not careful, he could really get hurt in there. That dude can really fight. Oh, we got a killer in the building. We got the pretty cowboy himself. Philadelphia's very own Atif Oberlton. What's good, champ?
What's up, bro? What's up, bro?
It's good to finally have you on, man.
It's good to be on, man.
Yeah,
Good people.
Thank you. So man, look, I know who you are because I'm a boxing nerd, but a lot of people still don't know about Atif Oberlton. So talk to him, man. Like, who is Atif Oberlton? Tell him.
Atif Oberlton is the flyest boxer in the world, the best boxer in the world, the most exciting boxer in the world. Not even just on terms of fighting, but on the excitement I bring in the ring and out the ring and the flair that I have. But other than that, if we're not just talking about boxing and career-wise, Atif is a loving and caring dude, a cool guy that anybody could come up to and have a respectful conversation with. And I'm all about just giving back and also showing the younger ones under me that it's a better way to do everything,
No,
and much more.
Yeah, man, you got that southpaw style that I like. The southpaw speedy style, punching power. What do you feel about like where you're at in your career? Because I've watched a lot of your interviews with my man Jamil Parker out there in Philly. It sounds like you're having a hard time not just getting fights, but even even getting sparring.
Oh yeah. My career, I wanted it to go much more fast. I wanted to be already where I want to be. You see what I'm saying? But as time go by, I will get there. So nobody can stop God's work. But yeah, it's hard to get sparring. It's hard to get fights. I'm just here. I'm laying down to work. I'm still working and grinding all day. I stay in the dojo. I stay in the gym. Stay in the dojo at home. I stay a student of the game and everything. And I'm still bumping pesos. So I'm still here.
What by ASAP Rocky?
Yes, sir. I be that pretty mother.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I know you're a big ASAP Rocky fan. That's where you got your nickname from, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, you're in a weight class, man. That's like really interesting because you got Bivol and Better Biev at the top. I've always said like in this weight class to be the best light heavyweight, you kind of gotta be like the best fighter in boxing because you got some top talent up there.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting to say because a lot of people don't say that about the light heavyweight division.
No, you don't think so?
A lot of people don't say that. I look at it as because it's my division. I feel like it's the biggest division in the game because it's the division I'm in.
Well, yeah, exactly. You got people like yourself as well. But the reason I say that is because you got Bivol, right? Who's like a master boxer. Guy's a great technical fighter. You got Better Biev, who's knocked out everybody he's fought. So you got two guys who you could argue they're in the discussion for being the best at something in the sport. That's why I say that.
Right.
Yeah. How would you feel maybe like one day if they're still somehow there and Atif Oberlton is broken into the top 10?
Let's get it. It's time to put it on the test and see who really the best, which I'm pretty sure the world might not know, but I know what the answer to it is, and it is me. I'm in this thing, man. It's no friends. I'm here to be the greatest of all time. And I take after the great ones that came before me. I take after the Purnells and the James Tonys and all them guys from anywhere, even the guys that's still not here, the boxing guys, I take after them. So I take this real serious, and this is for legacy. The money gonna come, the fame and everything gonna come behind it, but this is about legacy and me establishing that I'm the best. So that there to me means that's what I've been working for my whole life. So that's something that I'm real deep about. So if that opportunity presents itself, we're not gonna play with it.
Yeah, you seem to have like a good balance of confidence, but also equal amount of humility. Where does that come from?
It just comes from the confidence came from something I had to build up, man, because, you know, growing up, and it came through boxing as well. Growing up, you know, I was different than everybody else. So I had to embrace that individuality. Me being a kid with no hair and everybody else got hair, or I'm liking to wear certain things that everybody else don't like. It might seem weird to them, but this is what I like. Those are the things that had to make me had a tough skin. And you know, I just had to believe in myself, if anything, and I had to say the things to believe in myself, whether if I didn't believe it or not at that time. So it could present itself in the future to where those words that I'm saying is finally actual manifesting themselves, and I mean what I say. So that's where the confidence come from. The humility come from just being raised by a good family and just being a person that got a good heart. You know, I'm not like one of these robots or these people out here that got a bad heart. I know my heart mean good, and that's just what I stand on, you know.
No, absolutely. We got a question for you, Atif. My man Hyro says, "Are you still with PBC because your last fight wasn't on PBC?" I just wanted to know.
Yeah, I'm still with PBC.
Yeah, this is Al
As far
Heyman's.
as I know, I'm still with PBC.
This is Al Heyman's best prospect, in my opinion. You know, all respect to all the other prospects, but for the ones I've seen, yeah, I hope you prove me right. I hope you continue proving me right.
I will. Trust me. Go to the casino and double down every time.
I will. Did you look at the Paul Williams at all? Because you kind of have like a tall man, you're a southpaw. Was there any Paul Williams influence in your style?
My father liked Paul Williams. I respect Paul Williams as a fighter, and I watched him like, wow, he threw a lot of punches. But me being a technical fighter, I always we stabbing. Yeah.
Who said I like Paul Williams? I never liked Paul Williams. Who said I like Paul Williams? I like this kid here. He's a technical kid here. You said what you said about the kid. You know what we about to do? All we need is the door.
That's it. The opportunity.
Yes, and you know it, and we know it.
Yeah.
Give us the door.
But I ain't gonna say like I respect Paul Williams and I love him, man, because it was an unfortunate situation that he was in that stopped his career. You see what I'm saying? But he made the smart business moves to where he's able to be okay in life. So salute to Paul Williams, you know.
Yeah, salute. We love Paul Williams.
We just talking about us.
Like Paul Williams.
I assume that's your dad. That's your dad, right?
That's all.
So to answer that, no, I really didn't watch him, but people say I remind him of them. That's cool, but I think they basing that off of my punch output and my height in my weight class.
It's definitely your frame and you being a southpaw too. That has a lot to do with it.
And I love you and your dad too.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, senior. Yeah, but like, yeah, you seem to be like a really. One thing I heard you say in an interview, you said you don't want it to be the best fighter, but you want to be the smartest fighter, which is something I don't really hear a lot of fighters say.
Yeah.
How do you go about being the smartest fighter? How do you go about that?
Because I love learning. So basically, when you ask me the question, you ask me what makes me want to be the smartest fighter, or basically like how do I go about being the smartest fighter and how does it work for me in my career?
The second one, how do you go about being the smartest fighter?
Because being just like Floyd Mayweather said, being smart is what wins you fights. You know, all the toughest guys, the tough guys that you know, they here today and going tomorrow. You know, whether it be with anything in life, when guys is just basing everything on letting their nuts hang, they don't last for long. Especially in this sport, you got guys that start talking wrong and they don't go back to their families the right way. And it's never about being the toughest. It's always about being smart. It's just like playing chess in life, man. You got to figure these things out. I don't need to be the fastest. I don't need to be the strongest. But if I'm outsmarting my opponent, I got it. You know, this game is what they'll say, 90% mental and 10% physical. So everything is very important in a mental piece. And a lot of people don't have it. And it's important to have that.
They say that heart can get you killed too, you know, if you have too much of it. If you use it too much.
Yeah, heart can get killed because I feel like heart is another word for a lot of people And it comes to a certain point where you use heart. It's like, man, this guy, he needs to show heart. You see what I'm saying? So it's good, but a lot of times people overuse heart. Yeah, I got heart. I'll do anything. Yeah, I got heart. I'll fight that guy. Or I got heart. I'll do this in this situation. And to me, it sounds like when they saying they got heart, it sounds like they saying, I'm dumb. I'll go right into the street and run into a speeding car. You see what I'm saying? You got to be smart about things, you know? And that's where fear comes from. Like Mike Tyson said, you and Cus D'Amato, you know, I read his book. If it wasn't for fear, you wouldn't do things the right way. You'll cross the street when it's a green light, you know, a red light while cars are coming. You see what I'm saying? So just because you have that fear, that don't mean that you're scared. That means you're ready to do what you have to do the smart way to survive.
No, absolutely. I know you're like a boxing student because I've heard you speak about fighters that you study. Mm-hmm. By any chance, have you watched any like of Michael Nunn at all? You know Michael Nunn?
Michael's second to none.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It ain't no fun if you ain't watching Michael Nunn.
That's a
Shout out
fact.
to Michael Nunn. I be repping James Toney a lot because that's my favorite. But at the same time, I love Michael Nunn because he a slick, tall southpaw like me.
Okay, that's why I asked.
I like that. Yeah. I be watching his highlights. Like I be up on him. I was watching him like about a month or two ago because I had my little phase where I watch certain fighters at certain times and stuff because that just be what I be feeling at the moment.
I'm the same way, man. Like I remember like last year for like 2 months, all I watched was Marlon Starling. You know Marlon Starling?
Yeah, I know Marlon Starling. He worked with Eddie Futch. He was good. He had a real good high guard.
Yeah.
He answered the phone. Yep.
Yeah. See, you know boxing, so I'm not gonna tell you too many fighters that you wouldn't know of already.
Yeah.
Because most fighters, if I tell them like Marlon Starling, they're like, "Who's that? Like, who's Michael Nunn? Who's Marlon Starling?" But you know.
Yeah, I know him. But a wise man knows he knows nothing. So
that's
I'm always
true.
willing to learn and figure something else out because that's going to help me grow.
Oh, no, absolutely. And boxing has so much history. You can always learn about new fighters
all the time.
Yeah, from different countries and different weight classes. Like, do you watch the smaller weight classes at all? Like the guys that like the
108s and
like some guys,
right?
Yeah.
That's sad to say. Like I know a local small guys. Shout out to Dylan Price. I know like the local guys, and that's something that I need to even tap into because you can learn something from everybody. So I can learn something from them. But the last of that breed that I really remember, like the names, is of course like the Barreras, the Pacquiaos, and what's my guy name? I love Nonito Donaire. That was one guy I ran into, and he embraced me and he gave me game and taught me some tricks and even some things mentally that he do.
Okay, you watch. So you never watched like Roman Cholatito Gonzalez or nobody like that?
I watched them, but it seemed like pretty much just come forward, throw a lot of punches, and
I wouldn't say it's exactly that. You might need to watch it a little closer.
All right, so I will. So
yeah,
you see what I'm saying? You might have corrected me in that. So I would have to go look back and check him out.
Yeah, like he's not. I mean, like you gotta really pay attention with him because like he does throw a lot of punches and he does like to come forward, but he does it in an intelligent way where he's parrying a lot of the shots. He's a master at like parrying punches.
See now I gotta look at that because I love defense.
Stepping around you, like parrying the shots, stepping around you to create the angles and getting 3 or 4 or 5 of them off. Like,
I'm gonna watch him tonight now since you said
the fight you should go watch is him versus Brian Valoria. That's the fight you need to watch.
Okay.
Brian Valoria. There was a straight right hand he threw that was like it was like maybe like an inch or 2. Like you couldn't even see that he threw it, but like he threw it and he clipped the dude with the right hand and dropped him.
Wow.
He's a great fighter. If you're someone who likes the subtleties of boxing, that's like the best guy. One of the best guys to watch.
Yeah. I am. Thanks for putting me on.
No, definitely, man. We got some questions for you, man. My man Kevin Effect wants to know from you, Atif, what was your amateur pedigree?
You're in the perfect place for all that.
Where you at?
Hold on.
Oh, okay. National champion.
National champion. That's the first Golden Glove that I won. Look, we got trophies all over here, but I'm gonna tell y'all what I won in a minute. But I'm just giving y'all a tour where we at.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
This your like room or something? Like what? This your room?
No, this my dad's barbershop.
Oh shit! Okay.
I mean, we got this the first national Golden Glove right here.
Okay.
No, is this? Yeah, that's the first one. But I won Boxer of the Year award, all that thing. But I won 2 ringside world champions, 2 national Golden Glove championships. I also won the Junior Olympics. That was my first national that I won. I was the runner-up in the silver gloves. That was my first national I went to with only like 5 fights, and I won a national junior Olympics with only 10 fights. I was on the USA team. I'm the U.S. Olympic alternate. If a lot of people watch that, and you know how politics go, you know how things go. I fought in the World Championships in Russia. I fought in the Netherlands overseas in a duel, and I fought 2 times that night. 2 times back to back, and I won. I fought. Where else did I fight? Yeah, but I have the international experience. I fought in Bulgaria in the same tournament 2 different times. So
was it the AIBA World Championships?
AIBA World Championships was when I fought in Russia. Yes.
Okay.
But the other one was I said Netherlands, but the other one was in Bulgaria, and it was the Stranja. They say it's like the oldest boxing tournament in the world, but it's not a ranking tournament though.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, in short, it's an extensive amateur pedigree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if my perfect amateur career would have been that I ended out with the Olympic gold medal. But that's if we was living in a perfect world. But I always said when I was a kid, I want when my name is coming up across, I'm making my pro debut, I want them to say, 2-time national Golden Glove, 10-time national champion. I said I wanted those things to happen, and it did happen. So I'm pretty happy. Sometimes I do miss the amateurs, but I really miss it more so when we were kids than adults, because when you're adult, it's not as fun anymore.
Well, not even just that. Like, I know you're early in your career, but like, have you had any experiences where like the business of boxing maybe has soured your love for the sport? Because I know fighters say they go through that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I don't need to know anymore. How will ask you, say, where did you get that dancing in the ring from? It reminds me of Emmanuel Augustus, the drunken master.
Okay. So of course, Emmanuel Augustus, shout out to him. He the granddaddy of that style. Like, of course, like that's who I'm learning from and who I'm watching. But my family could dance. My dad can dance. My grandpop could dance. And like when I was young, I just see, that's what we do with my mom or whatever. We all at family get-togethers. You dance with each other and have fun.
Yeah, at the cookouts and whatnot.
I started to put 2 and 2 together because I like to dance, right? And music. My grandpa told me before he passed, God rest his soul, he told me and my dad told me the same thing. You go with, the feel of the music. So I put 2 and 2 together. A lot of people, when they look at me, and I don't know why, because I always felt like I was fundamentally correct and had a slick style, but people would look at me and say, "Oh yeah, you're an awkward fighter," and I'm like, "How?" So I put the awkward movements, and then I do little awkward things in a ring because I know it takes them off they square, and I put that, and I said, well, I'm going to put dancing with it too. And then when I studied Emmanuel Augustus, I'm like, whoa, you see what I'm saying? So, and I already had that kind of like herky jerky style naturally. When I'm cooking you and I'm really having fun, I get so then I just really started all the way dancing and studying Emmanuel, and then it really just all come together.
Okay, yeah, it's a good answer. Yeah, and that's something that could work for a guy like yourself, because with your speed and power and your range, if you land heavy shots on someone and then you start dancing, that might piss them off. It might make them get out of their game plan.
It do. And it's a lot of things behind it. I can't give away all of my things. I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
I'm not going to give away all the tricks, but it's actually a method to the madness.
Okay. My dad wants to know, Atif, what's your dad's barbershop name? So if anybody wants a champion haircut in Philly, they know where to go.
Right. Okay. What's your dad's barbershop name? So if anybody in a champion haircut in Philly, they know where to go. Okay. Marvin's Unisex, 60th and Market.
There you go. Marvin's Unisex on 60th and Market.
Yep, Pop. Marvin's Unisex, 60th and Market. We give you a fresh cut anytime you want it. We keep you tight.
Okay.
Thanks, Pop.
Mention
From Pop to Pop.
Listen. Say Pretty Cowboy is the best in the world, and you get half off.
Yeah, you get half off. We say Pretty Cowboy is the best.
Pretty Cowboy, the best. Best in the world.
Yeah. West Philadelphia, 60th and Market. We got you.
Okay. Let me see.
That's the black Angel Garcia. So you know what I mean.
Well, you know what's funny? I've always told people that Angel Garcia reminds me of my dad. My dad's kind of
right.
like
People that got their dads, they know. Like
yeah. No,
What was
absolutely.
the next question? I see it disappeared so quick.
Oh, my bad. That it wasn't a question. It was just this is my dad. He said that Philly drip though, styling and profiling.
Oh yeah, my guy. All right, what's up, pops? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I noticed a while ago when I started following you on Instagram. Do you come to South Florida a lot? Because I noticed like you were cool with the goals. Like I think like Rambo.
Yeah, that's my brothers and them and Yeti.
Like I don't know Rambo. I know Yeti. I don't know Rambo, but I know of him. I've seen him like at gyms and stuff. But yeah, just I thought it was interesting that you were in South Florida because that's brothers.
Yeah.
That's where I'm from.
The golds and all that. I was supposed to come back down there. I'm gonna come back down there soon. He got his bare knuckle debut coming up. So shout outs to the bro if you see this.
Absolutely. I also saw on your amateur record you beat a guy I know from Florida, Julian March. You fought him a couple times and beat him. I don't know if you remember him, but
I know who you talking about.
Yeah. But let me see. Yeah, I mean, I guess I ran out of questions, but let me see. What else is there? Is there any other fights you're excited about coming up in boxing? Like,
I'm excited to see Tank and his next fight again.
Well, Hector Garcia.
Luis
Garcia.
I just like watching them fight. Period.
What do you like about Tank? I know Tank gave you a lot of credit. He said that like you were like one of the top guys coming up out of the amateurs.
That's the one reason why. But that's the number one reason why. We ain't gonna get twisted. So the number one reason why. But no, all in all, like when somebody show me some love, like I'm gonna reciprocate that back 100%. So he didn't have to do that. So I'm rocking with him. You see what I'm saying? But on top of that, he a dog. He a great boxer, and like he put his time in. So he deserved everything that he got and everything that he has coming for him. That's good.
No, absolutely. And it's I guess it's very humble of him to being in the high position he's in to give a guy like yourself credit.
See what I'm saying? And those are the things that I live by. That's the laws I live by because that's what I want to do. Because when I came up, it was a lot of guys that were supposed to be the guys in the city or in the boxing game, period. And I look to them like, yeah, you the man. Like, go ahead, lead the way, show some love. And they didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? So for the younger ones, I'm not going to be that bitter OG. I'm going to show love.
Okay. Your dad's been a pretty good part of this live so far, so I guess I'd ask you.
Read the cut, man.
I can tell. I wanted to ask you what role has your dad played as far as like I guess your boxing career and I guess you as a man. Like how has he helped you along the way?
Of course, he raised me, but like as you see, the support.
Yeah,
he care about what I care about. If it's something that means something to me, it means something to him too. And that just like goes to show. Like you see how he coming in, jumping in the back. Like I already got a mouthpiece. So it's a different. A lot of these guys don't got a mouthpiece and they dad gotta talk for them. But now I got a mouthpiece and I get it from him. You see what I'm saying? So but he come in and he laying the law down. He's saying what's felt and what needs to be said. And he tries his best to have my back. And I can always confide in him for questions and stuff, and then he'll guide me, with answers and stuff. So he just always been my support and backbone.
Oh, we just ride out. You and your pops, y'all ride out. We ride out, baby. This love.
I know, man.
We love each other, and you don't get to the top without love.
No, you can't. You can't.
He's just trying to show off the Movado.
He done came up on the Movado.
I just thought this was love. We ride off love.
Always, you know that.
It's gonna be more to show.
Yeah, because
here we go.
I know. I can appreciate what you guys have going on because I know for me, like I wouldn't have gotten as far as I've gotten if it was for my dad. So,
yeah.
Yep,
that definitely plays an important
Shouts
role.
out to love. It ain't Father's Day, but shouts out to the fathers. That's the real fathers.
Because the fathers don't get enough appreciation.
Yeah,
Right,
definitely.
exactly.
Having a father is so important, and young men, especially young black men, lives. We need that.
Absolutely. Atif, do you have any fight lineup soon? Anything in the works?
We supposed to have something in the works. The top of the year. So, God willing, we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe they can get you on the tank card. You know.
Yeah.
The tank.
We just gotta see. I'll take all of that. But
Yeah,
the tank card definitely. I would love to.
And on the televised portion too, man, because I remember when I went to the Luis Ortiz, was it Luis? Yeah, Luis Ortiz Charles Martin down here in South Florida. You fought, but it was like early on the card, like barely anybody had got there yet. It wasn't on TV.
I was supposed to. I was told that I was supposed to fight on the television, but
it's what it is.
Yeah.
Just keep kicking ass, and eventually the television will come find you.
Yeah,
because you are must see TV. I think you're must see TV.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But listen, man, I don't want to hold you up too much longer, Atif. We'll definitely do this again. But any final message to the boxing world about yourself and what you got going on?
Nah, man, just everything. I'm putting in the work. I'm going through it. You see what I'm saying? I'm going through what I gotta go through to make me stronger in life and everything. So that's pretty much just it. Like, I'm still here, and we're gonna get it popping.
One last question, actually. Would you like to fight with your stablemate Marcus Brown?
I said it's no friends.
No friends. There you have it. No friends. And they want to know where they can follow you.
In Atif, we trust. INATIF, we trust. Like, if you trust in God, you trust in me.
And Atif, we trust. I typed it in.
Okay, thanks.
There you go. So there you have it. All right, Atif. It was a pleasure, man. We'll do it again sometime.
All right. Thanks, y'all. Thanks for asking the questions and coming in and tuning in. Thanks for having me.
No, absolutely. Thank you for coming on.
All right, for sure.
All right. So there you have it, man. Atif Oberlton, Philadelphia's very own, really, really good fighter. I would advise anybody, if you have not seen this young man fight, please, like, for the love of God, do yourself a damn favor. Like, in fact, when this video is done, if you're here on this live right now, when this video is done, I want you to go and I want you to get in the chat or go to the search bar, and I want you to type his name. Whatever fight you see first, whichever one you can find first, go ahead and watch that fight, because they're all fun to watch. They're all a lot of knockouts, a lot of speed, a lot of things to like with Atif Oberlton. So definitely do that, and we'll get to a couple more comments in the live. BT, thanks for having Atif on. I love this interview. He's a cool ass. He is a cool ass dude. He's cooler than the other side of the pillow, and I love the fact that he came on and he's just a guy that I feel like boxing needs more of. We need more Atif Oberltons in the world. Big respect to Atif. I'm looking forward to following his career. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Kevin Effect. When I wrap things up here, go on YouTube and go watch his fights, and you'll see why I call him Al Heyman's best prospect. I call him the best prospect in the PBC. And then you'll start wondering why on God's earth, why haven't we heard more of Atif Oberlton? Because he's just really like one of these guys that, for all intents and purposes, he should just be more known. I think he should be. So, yeah. On that note, guys, look, it was a star-studded occasion. I told you guys, I freaking told you it was gonna be a great live. It was gonna be a great, just 2 hours and some change, and it was. Hey, before I end the video, you guys let me know this. Just let me know this one last thing, and I'll get up on out of here. Do you guys like this format that I did today? Because I've never done the lives in this format where I talk for 30 minutes about something in boxing, get a guest, talk for another 30 minutes, get another guest. So let me know. Do you guys like this format? If you do, then I'll try to make more of my lives just like this one, because this is a pretty fun live. Time just flew by. It flew right on by. Let me see. I'm waiting for some responses. I want some feedback. I need some feedback from the people. He said it was a hell of a format. I love this live. The crazy thing is too, right? What happened was I was supposed to interview Mickey Bey this afternoon, but then Mickey Bey said he couldn't do this afternoon, so he wanted to do it at night. So I said, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna go live for 2 hours and some change, and I'm gonna have both of them on the live. And that's what it did, and it came together nicely. So I might just try to structure my lives out this way. And then rather than me shooting a million videos, I could just do one big ass live a day and then just cut the clips. And that'll probably be more efficient here on True School Sports. So listen, I'm learning every day. Atif Oberlton's learning every day to become a great light heavyweight. I'm learning every day to become a better boxing content creator. And that's just what it is. My man, Bad Boy Be Good says, great interview. Thank you, champ. Thank you. I appreciate you. Kevin FX says, classic live already. Yes, that's what we're trying to do. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to interview a heavyweight from down here in South Florida named Rafael Acapajori at 2 p.m. I know we got the Munguia card later on that night, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that yet, but there should be another. There might be like 2 lives tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Maybe it'll be 1, maybe it'll be 2. I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna use this live right here. This is the blueprint I'm gonna try to start using for like all my future lives, like all of them, because this was just amazing. I had fun. Time flew by, and I didn't really feel like I tried hard at anything, you know. So and the crazy thing is, like, what you guys don't even realize, I'm freaking tired. Like I've been on the computer all day editing videos. I had to run to the gym and then come back, and I had to go grocery shopping, and so I've been all over the place today. And it, you know, thankfully today went well, and the live went well, and you guys enjoyed the content. So I'll be definitely cutting clips from all these interviews. And these will definitely be out on the channel soon, so be on the lookout for that. Quick question: what do you think about Golden Boy's new signing, Aaron Silva? I don't know anything about him, but once I go ahead and watch him, I will definitely check out Aaron Silva for sure. You know what I'm saying? Bad Boy Be Good says, I'm a new fan. A new fan of Atif or a new fan of True School Sports? Which one? Either way, I'm good. You know, go be a fan of Atif, because he deserves all the fans in the world. He deserves it. He's a really good fighter. You know, I watch a lot of boxing, from the amateurs to the prospects to the contenders to the champions to, you know, from all over the world. I really do study this sport at a high level. And Atif Oberlton, I can say hand on heart, is a special talent, and nobody would be able to tell me otherwise. To tell you the truth, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll go for like 2 more minutes and then I'll wrap it up. But make sure you guys join the live on tomorrow. We'll be live from Munguia versus Gonzalo Correa, and I might be live early in the day, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure yet, but I should be live early in the day tomorrow, like at 2, and they'll probably go live at night. So probably 2 lives tomorrow. But this is definitely one for the books. I really did enjoy it. Let me see. Do we got any comments? Any more comments? Because I'm about to get up on out of here. You know, I'm about to hop up on out of here. And just chill the rest of the night. I'll give you guys like 30 more seconds. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. We here, man, doing our thing. And you said Top Rank was the best prospects he's with PBC. I said Top Rank as a collection had the best prospects, and they do. But Al Heyman's best prospect was him. And you'll see that as he continues to progress. But listen, guys, on that note, there's no other comments coming in. I'm going to get up on out of here. It was a great time. I will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you take care. God bless. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.